Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm going to be walking you through the crypto markets. First things first, we're going to start off with the short term for Bitcoin here on the hourly. Then we're going to be moving on to the mid term for Bitcoin on the 4 hourly here. And then we're moving on to the long term for Bitcoin. And then after that, I'm going to be doing some altcoins for you there. So if you've got any altcoins that you want me to do a TA on, just request them in the chat and I'll get to that once I've finished my Bitcoin TA for you there as well. Right, as you can see here, just a bit of a review on what we saw, what was happening this morning, right? We came to the top side of this rising wedge here. And we actually found a nice resistance point at around this 40,600 mark, around there. And then we basically dumped down, and then we found a nice level of support at this horizontal support level at 39,600 here, correlating perfectly with this 200 moving average, which we got coming through as well. At this point in time, we are continuing up with the 10 simple here. We're continuing up with this 10 simple here, looking at our next level of resistance at around 40,500. If we can get to that point, if we can get enough resistance there, then it's going to be looking like we are going to test the top side of this rising wedge here. If we can get a nice break to the top side of this rising wedge, we could be looking at a potential measure move, right? Potential measure move, which basically means a potential long position we could be thinking about. In terms of what I think it could be looking like, something along the lines of this, right? Something along the lines of this. Obviously, depending on where we're going to break on the top side of this rising wedge here. So let's just go on the basis that we break here. And it basically correlates perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band, which we primarily find quite a bit of resistance off, right? We find quite a bit of resistance off, and it's a great, in a sense, pivot point for us to think about, right? Great pivot point for us to think about. Now, right now, if we're looking at a percent for that trade, if we are to get in just as we come out of this rising wedge here, which for me, I'm not going to, and I'll explain that in a second, we would be looking at around an 8%. But let's just hold that there for 1 second, right? As you can see here, we do have these dominant lower highs coming down from that previous dump that we saw for Bitcoin, right? All these previous dumps here. And this is a critical point for Bitcoin to get over, right? Critical point for Bitcoin to get over to confirm that we're having a reversal in the trend, right? To confirm that we're having a reversal in the trend. Harshit, I will get to MATIC in a minute, mate. Definitely will. I'm just gonna do a nice summary on Bitcoin here to start off the stream here. And then I promise you I will get to MATIC, right? Crucial point for Bitcoin here, crucial point for this long, which I'm talking about for now, is literally we need to clear these lower high levels from the previous downtrend which we had on Bitcoin, right? The previous major dumpage that we were having there. So if we can clear this level here, this is kind of the position that I'm going to be looking at entering my long. Just because, right, we are going to see quite a bit of insane resistance from this point, right? Crucial point for Bitcoin. We are going to see some insane resistance because if we find a lot of resistance from this point, it's basically going to be confirmation that we're going to see a bit of a trend reversal here. And it basically means all this uptrend that we're seeing now, these high lows being set all the way up here, it means it's in a sense a trap, right? It's in a sense a trap, and we are going to basically see some price action to the downside from there, potentially coming down, testing the 55, potentially coming down and testing the top side of this giant channel that we've got going on down here, right? Definitely something to consider for Bitcoin if we are to see enough resistance here, right? But if we are going to be entering a position, if we are going to see some nice candle closes, some nice stable price action around this point in terms of a trade here, a long position, we could be looking at something along the lines of this, right? So nice potential 4% trade there for Bitcoin to consider, right? To consider. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions from an educational standpoint on what I think could potentially happen, right? At this point in time, we are holding support at around this 39,500. Does Bitcoin affect MATIC? Yes, it does, my friend. But it does in terms of big swings to the downside, but as you can see here, we did swing down, and if I just bring up, well, I'll get to MATIC in a minute, throw me off a bit here. I'll explain basically, if we have a massive dump with Bitcoin, MATIC is going to dump as well, right? MATIC is going to dump as well because all of the altcoins, primarily, they all do follow Bitcoin, but MATIC has been behaving pretty erratically in the other direction once Bitcoin is sort of going sideways and consolidating, right? So MATIC's got that buying power to the upside, which we'll see on that chart, right? Right now, that's the potential long position that we need to be looking at for the short term for Bitcoin there. In terms of if we don't see this trend continue with these higher highs being set on this current uptrend, which we're currently doing, if we do see a nice point of resistance here, I can see a reversal. Potentially coming down and testing this trend line here on the short term, right? In terms of what's happening on the MACD right now, we are seeing higher low here, a lower high here in terms of an uptrend here. which isn't too bad. It isn't too bad. It does show that we do have resistance to the upside here, and that was basically this pullback that we have here, coming back down to this horizontal support point at 39.6, and that was basically this trend that we had going on here. And yes, so no, sorry, that was this the loss of the power, the loss of the momentum in the uptrend, which we had going on here. We are near enough due a bearish crossover on the MACD here. We're near enough due a bearish crossover on the MACD, which could potentially mean before that we come up, we test this level of resistance here at 40,500 there. Potential that we come up, we test that, and then we see a bit of a swift rejection from there, coming down, testing the 200 moving average and the bottom side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here. And that basically means we are going to have a bearish crossover pretty soon. And when that happens, we're likely to have a basic downtrend formed, but it's not going to be that significant. As you can see, we do have a pretty big support line that we've been respecting for quite a while, right? We've been respecting for quite a while, and it's not quite thin enough, right? It's not quite thin enough for us to basically say, look, this trend's gonna smash through the support line. This downtrend's gonna smash through the support line and cause a lower low and cause a new trend cycle there, right? It's definitely something to consider in terms of a support point. For this downtrend, which we could potentially be seeing, right? Definitely something to think about when we're coming down, because it is looking like if we get to this point, we are primarily going to bounce back up again as well. We're not going to dump straight through this trend line here and straight through this support line at 39.5, right? Pretty unlikely unless we can break the cycle on the MACD there. Don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. In terms of the RSI right now, we were near enough overbought earlier, and that's why we have seen that reversal. Obviously, we saw that huge wick, that huge candle to the upside to test the top side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here, and that's when we saw that selling power to the downside. That's what we're seeing now, and this is the bounce, right? And this is the question I'm asking: are we going to bounce here and have that continuation to the upside? At this point in time, we're looking all right on the RSI. We're not overbought. We're not oversold in any way, shape, or form. We're not even that central, right? So we are looking like if we are going to have some surge of buying power before we get overbought here, we're looking probably around this point, around the 70 zone on the RSI. There, we could be looking at potentially clearing this level of resistance and then fizzling out in terms of buying power for a bit, right? I don't see us, if we do clear this level of resistance and we find support on it, I can see us in a sense correlating around this sort of zone, around that 40k zone, between 40 and 41 there, before testing these insane lower highs to the top side of this trend that we're going to see potentially later on today, right? Definitely something to think about when trading Bitcoin on the old short term there. Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, okay? Helps me out tremendously. I am obviously a new YouTuber on the block here. I've only been here for like 2 weeks. So I do need, or just under 2 weeks, I do need that extra support, extra little leap into the algorithms there. Helps me out tremendously. And turn that thumbs up blue, right? And if you like my content, hit that subscribe button as well. I will be streaming every single morning, Monday to Friday. I do try and get an afternoon stream as well, like I am doing today. Just a brief update on the market. It won't ever be as long as my morning stream. Like this morning, I was going for 2.5 hours this morning. But yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you never want to miss one of my uploads. And also, I do altcoin videos. I do emergency updates. Just continuously creating content for you guys, right? So if you never want to miss any of my content, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Let's get to Bitcoin on the midterm here. As you can see, we did have this falling wedge coming down, right? This falling wedge coming down, and we did see a break of that falling wedge. And I did actually enter that trade, and it was, for me, we got in on the retest of this downward sloping resistance line here. We got in on the retest there, and it was just under 8% trade. Very nice indeed. The reason why I took profit at this point and not at this 55 moving average coming down here, and it would have measured up perfectly for this measure move here, right? It would have literally measured up perfectly for this measure move here to come up, tap the 55, have a nice take profit there. But no, the reason why I didn't do that is because I looked at the RSI here and I saw, look, we do have a downward sloping resistance line on the RSI to think about here, which it's basically been pretty heavily respected for quite a while here. So it's definitely something to think about. Definitely something that I took into consideration when I was live in my position here for Bitcoin. And we came to the bottom side of this here, and I was there like, right, we're finding that resistance there. For me, I don't think we're going to get to that 55 moving average there. We are going to get a pretty swift rejection from there, and we did, right? At this point in time, we are testing it, right? We're testing this downward sloping resistance line here. If we can find a nice level of support on it, that's going to be ideal, because I can see us basically coming to the top side of it and potentially riding the top side of it, or potentially seeing a nice surge in price to the upside. And that would basically mean, right, that we are going to find a nice level of support on the 55 moving average, which we are currently testing for Bitcoin on the midterm, right? I'm just going to have a sip of water, H2O. When do you think it's time to sell BTC? This guy's always spamming about MATIC. Oh, nice. You can block. Oh, brilliant. It's funny. You think we're going to get to 41 or 42, or is 40 probably max before we go back down to 37-ish? In my opinion, guys, it's a crucial point. It's a crucial point at this 41 zone, right? I do think we are going to see some heavy resistance at this zone at 41. I do think we are going to get to 41, but I do think we are going to definitely have some sort of pullback from there, probably down to 39, 38, potentially correlating here with this 21 moving average that we've got coming on here. But in order for that to happen, I do think we need to find a nice level of support on the 55 here before we even think about the progression to the upside. And also, we will need to find a level of support on this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. So there's a few things to think about, but in my opinion, just on what I think is going to happen in terms of a prediction, I do think we are going to come up to this level here at around 41, potentially even getting to 42 before we see that rejection there. So that's definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider. And my reasoning for that is basically back on the short term here. We do need to basically come out of this. For that to happen, we do need to find a nice level of support on this 40,500 zone, and then also have a nice upward swing to break through this major moving average that we've got coming here of the top side of this rising wedge, right? So yeah, if we can get a nice confirmation of that at around that 40,800, 40,900 zone, that's an inkling that we are going to come up. And we are going to come up and test these lower high zones here from that previous downtrend which we had. But it is insanely crucial that we do break these trends here, just because if we don't, it is likely we are to see a reversal in the trend here, because obviously we have been setting higher lows continuously, right? We've been setting higher lows continuously, and if we do see a reversal from this point, you can see the downwards momentum, right? You can see the downwards momentum from this point here. If we do get that, then we are looking at potentially even breaking this high low, which is what we've got set here, and coming down to this level of support at 35. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think it's going to be pretty gentle indeed. But if it was going to be, if all of this uptrend here is likely to be a bit of a trap here, then a bit of a trap, and we have seen this insane buying power to the upside. We've been jumping up literally 20% on a lot of altcoins in literally the matter of a few days here. So it would be a pretty good trap for the whales to do, to get the confidence back in the market after seeing all this panic sell, or after seeing all these dumps to the downside, right? So crucial point, just to summarize on that, is that 41, 42. Do I think we're going to get there? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Back to the midterm quickly. We do, but in order to do that, right, we do need to find a nice crucial level of support on that 55. I think I'm going to jump to the long term now. Yeah, I'm going to jump to the long term. Maybe I can do a little bit on the MACD here, guys. If you are liking the stream, guys, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I am a new YouTuber, and I need to get on that algorithm. I just like to thank you guys for being here as well. And I hope you're having a good time, and I hope I'm giving you some informative stuff. And you do have some, if you do have some altcoins, I will jump onto them. Just chuck them in the chat, right? Chuck them in the chat, and I will jump onto them as soon as I'm done here with Bitcoin. At this point in time, Bitcoin on the long term, we are currently finding a nice level of support on this 10 moving average that we've got coming down. Next target point is the 200 moving average that we've got coming down here, the 200 SMA, and that is correlating as well with these lower high points which I was just talking about, right? These lower high points which I was just talking about on that insane downtrend which we saw. And as I said, this is crucial point. This is the crucial point here, and it does correlate perfectly with the 200 moving average as well. So if we can find a nice level of support on the 200 moving average, our next target is the bottom side of this bull market barrier, right? The bottom side of this bull market barrier, which is around 43. So we do have crucial points at 41, crucial points at 42, crucial points at 43. Pretty big levels of resistance here, pretty big levels of resistance. And that's why I do have some sort of inclination that we are going to see a swift rejection from there, potentially taking out one or two of the high lows that we have formed recently, right? Creating that uncertainty back in the market, right? I do think that is a pretty big potential. But in order for us to smash through these points, we do need to find a level of support starting on the 41, getting over these lower highs, lower highs here, then getting over the 200 moving average that we've got going here, and then hitting out that 43. So those are continuation targets that we are looking for. Hopefully we can find the momentum, but obviously we're not going to see that happen overnight. We're not going to see that not in a sense parabolic, but that momentum being insanely strong for us to jump up 3,000 in price in a matter of no time at all. We're going to see a few chops and changes of different trends and stuff. So hopefully we can consolidate around this area and then gradually get enough momentum to the upside and go from there. But if not, we are going to see some swift rejection, in my opinion, right? Absolute bottom is this volume weighted ATR band, sat at around this 30k mark. As you can see here, when we did dump, when we did have that insane panic sell that we've got going on here, we did see a nice level of support on this volume weighted ATR band. And if you were to get in a position from there, we would have gotten a position off the volume weighted ATR band and rode it all the way up to the previous dominating moving average on the daily time frame. And look at that, been a nice 36% trade there. So if we are going to get to that point, yet again, we are going to look for a potential long there, because that'd be very good indeed. Obviously, I'm not one to trade an insanely volatile market, so I didn't really get into that. But next time, potentially, because I've seen a lot of buying power to the upside here. A lot of people in the market do want to push the price of Bitcoin, and I do think there will be a lot of limit orders completely stacked up here, ready to go. So the next time we get down to this 29k, 30k level, in potentially a panic sell sort of motion, I will be getting in a potential long there, just for those gains. It won't be a huge long in terms of equity, but it will be a long nonetheless, right? Let me have a look at some coins. What's the best coins for scalps? I mean, for scalps, bro, you can scalp pretty much, you can scalp quite a lot of coins. That's the wrong chart. You can scalp quite a lot of coins in terms of altcoins, right? For me, personally, I do like to scalp now and then when I can't see any potential swing trades. I stick usually with the top 50 cryptos, right? I try not to go lower than that. I try not to go even lower than that, because you do get a bit of manipulation there sometimes. So there's definitely certain things to think about. And it's very easy for a whale to get a smaller valued coin with a smaller market cap and just pump it and dump it like easily, right? Probably not obvious on the chart, right? Probably not that obvious on the chart, but it's still, they can still basically plan out trade patterns because they've got the equity behind it. And the fact of the matter is, you haven't got the equity to move the market yourself, right? But yeah, in terms of scalping, I would stick to the top 50. That's usually what I do. Top 10 are usually pretty good, but as like saying that, you do need to continuously, like scalping crypto, you do need to continuously watch Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is obviously, she's the leader in the market, right? She's the leader in the market, and whatever she does, all the other ones follow, right? On the exception of bloody MATIC, right? But obviously, if we are seeing that downswing for MATIC, let me jump onto MATIC quickly, right? We actually have found the volume weighted ATR band on MATIC, which is really, really good stuff here. But as you can see, we are pretty near enough parabolic for MATIC here in terms of these uptrends that we're seeing here, which basically means we're looking at that correction, right? We're looking at that correction coming in anytime soon, right? Pretty steep. It's a pretty steep gain from the bottom to the absolute low we saw at 74 cents to the absolute high at $1 at 67, testing the previous all-time high close. Pretty interesting stuff there. Oh, no, not 1.8, $2 and... $2.42, the previous all-time high close for MATIC there. I'd say next point to get over would be that level of support, so that level of resistance there, and find support on it, and then we'd be looking at testing the previous all-time highs in terms of the price action where we got there at around $2.71, right? Joking a bit there. But yeah, in terms of percent from top to the bottom, we're looking at 216% there. So we do need some sort of pullback, right? We do need some sort of pullback, because we can't just go parabolic like so. The more parabolic we go, the further down we're going to fall when we lose the momentum to the upside, right? So ideally what you want for MATIC now, if you're pretty bullish on MATIC and you want MATIC, where you hold MATIC in your portfolio, what I would be looking for now is a potential pullback to this 21 moving average on the 12-hour here, pulling you down to 1.65. I wouldn't be looking at any short or anytime soon, because this momentum to the upside is not healthy to short with, right? It's not healthy to short with. You're just going to get liquidated if you get one little pump to the upside, right? Ideally, we do want to see some consolidation for it to be healthy, right? We want to see some consolidation potentially around this point here, potentially sitting at the previous all-time high, potentially even testing this major trend line that we got coming in from the top side here. If we can see that, that would be ideal. Just some consolidation before we see another leg up, right? Before we see another leg up, because if we're just going to keep going up like this, as I said, we're going to have some insane correction to the downside, and that's when people are going to get wrecked, right? That is when people are going to get wrecked. So next target I'd say would be to find support on here on the 2.43 level of resistance at this point in time on the 12-hour. But yeah. and vice versa on the 4 hour here. But as you can see on the 4 hour, it is looking pretty good as we have just found a nice level of support on this volume weighted ATR band here. And if we find support on the volume weighted ATR band, we do potentially either come down to test it and then we ride it up, right? We ride that wave up, right? That's basically how the volume weighted ATR band works. If we come above it, we usually ride along it, right? So that's definitely a good sign that we found a level of support on it, because it could mean that we are going to, in a sense, consolidate around this sort of zone, which is what I just said. And that would be, in a sense, perfect for MATIC, right? After having those insane gains, right? After having those insane gains and that insane buying power, creating those high lows continuously up, right? Creating those high lows, and we have got a higher high here in terms of this trend. We did lose this high low here, but that's probably just a test, right? That's probably just a little test, and we have seen that correction come through pretty swiftly. Pretty swiftly, may I say, in this candle. In terms of this 4 hourly candle, in terms of a target, I would be looking at around $2.18 to see an absolute bottom, and that's where I think we could potentially bounce. And then the next target for that would be $2.57, right? And that is basically MATIC sort of summed up in terms of the midterm. In terms of the short term, right, it's pretty much the same sort of thing, right? It's pretty much the same sort of thing. You do have the volume weighted ATR band, which we have just crossed. We do have this level of resistance, which we are going to be testing pretty shortly if we do get a bounce off this volume weighted ATR band. Likelihood of us breaking it, we would need to see a higher high here in terms of this mini little uptrend that we got going on here on the hourly time frame. We would need to see a higher high for the next target of that $2.57. So definitely something to watch in terms of the bounce off this volume weighted ATR band, because at this point in time we have just smashed out the higher low on the previous candle there. So that does indicate potential trend reversal here. Definitely something to consider. But I do see us bouncing off this volume weighted ATR band fairly shortly, right? If we do lose it, next target will be on the 21. You do have this level of support here as well to back that up, and that is $2.12, right? $2.12. Let me have a little look at Bitcoin quickly, because Sam just said in the chat it's dumped down quite a bit. Yes, it has actually. It is testing that level of support down at around 339. Well, it's literally bang on what it's testing right now, right? Literally bang on what it's testing right now. As you can see, we are testing this 200 SMA. Hopefully, we do find a nice level of support on it. If we don't, as I said a minute ago, I do see us coming down, testing this 21 moving average, and this major trend line of this rising wedge that we've got going on here as well. And that's at around 39.1, 39.2 if we are to lose this 21 here. And it does kind of correlate perfectly with us losing this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI on the midterm for Bitcoin as well. So that does indicate we are going to see a bit of a sell-off here. If we haven't found support on it here. So we are gonna basically find that resistance on the midterm, right? So that does indicate that we are losing the 55 on the midterm as well, and we are going to see a bit of a sell-off, potentially coming down to around 39.2, 39.1. Potentially even wicking down to the price action channel before another move up, right? Definitely something to think about when trading Bitcoin, right? Cheers for that little hint there, Sam. Appreciate that a lot, mate. Yeah, back to MATIC quickly. Yeah, target for MATIC, as I said, we are potentially going to bounce on this volume weighted ATR band there, right? Any requests for coins in the chat, guys, smash them in there, and I will do them for you. And also, guys, if you're liking this content, smash up that like button, that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. Obviously need a little helping hand with these YouTube algos because they are pretty hard to get involved with, right? I'm going to jump into VET right now, VeChain, baby. Jump into VeChain. I'm not going to start on the hourly. I'm going to jump straight to the 12 hourly, not quite the daily, right? Because the daily, they pretty much all look the same on the daily. Let's get rid of that falling wedge there. As you can see here, we did obviously set the lowest low point on VeChain at around 5 cents, right? Or pretty much 5 cents. We did come up, we did see that insane buying power to the upside from there, and reclaiming this volume weighted ATR band, reclaiming this level of resistance here at 8 cents, and we've just been smashing through, right? We've just been smashing through. I remember talking about VeChain yesterday, and we were sat literally on like 10 cents around that level there, and I was like, wow, that's pretty goddamn cheap for VeChain, right? It's pretty goddamn cheap. We did see that higher low get created, and we have seen pretty higher lows get just, they're pretty high lows getting created all the way up here, which is very good for VeChain, right? It's very, very good for VeChain because I can see us basically surging to the upside from there. We're smashing out these higher targets, which we're looking for. We do have 10 hours and 50 minutes on this 12-hour candle yet to even do something. At this point in time, we have closed above the 200 SMA and above the 21 moving average that we've got going on there. So ideally, we are going to find a nice level of support here, and we are going to progress to the upside, potentially testing this price action channel here, flipping us to an uptrend here. Hopefully, that'd be very good indeed, but we do have to think about this 55 moving average that we've got coming in as well, right? It's 55 moving average that we've got coming in as well. But as I said, on most charts at the moment, we do have this crucial lower high point to think about. And at this point in time, VeChain is doing that skr. It's doing that skr to see whether the skr, whether we are going to get there or whether we are going to have that resistance and we are going to fall off and lose this 200 and the 21 there. So keep your eyes peeled for those trades there. If we are going to see that resistance to the downside, potentially looking at a short if we do lose these major points here. Obviously, depending on what's happening here. And as you can see, we do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI as well. If we come up, we test that, we see that resistance there. That's basically another inkling that there could be a potential short there if we do find that resistance off this lower high point on that previous downtrend, which we saw that insane panic sell, right? Insane stuff there, right? That is the 12 hour. Let's jump to the 4 hour for VeChain right there. As you can see, we have just cleared the 55 moving average. Next target would be the 200 SMA here, and that is around 15 cents there for VeChain, near enough 16 cents. If we were looking at the 16-cent mark, that's the wrong tool. If we're looking at the 16-cent mark, we would be looking at this horizontal resistance point. And that'd be, in a sense, the next target. And once we can get over this 200, find a nice level of support on that 200. But at this point in time, we're kind of curling over in this trend, right? We're kind of curling over in this trend. We have done a nice amount of percent today, right? We have done a nice amount of percent for VeChain today, near enough up to 34%, and then we've had that obviously retracement to where we are now, around that 26% mark. Very, very nice indeed. Very volatile for any sort of currency, right? I'm just gonna have a sip of water, bit of H2O. Just give me 1 second, Tom. I will jump onto Phantom once I've done a bit of VeChain here. Sorry, Harsha, I didn't see your WXR. I'll do Phantom next, and then I'll do WXR, right? But yeah, as you can see with VeChain right now, I said the target to the upside would be around this 16 cent mark. That would be ideal. But if we are to see this curl over, which we're happening now, I can see us basically coming down and testing this 55 at 12 cent 4, right? 12 cent 4. If we are to find a nice level of support on this 55, which is pretty likely, considering we do have to break this level of resistance here, as I was talking about a second ago on the higher time frame for VeChain here. We do have to break this lower high here, which we were setting on the way down of that insane dump, right? So if we are going to see the resistance there, I can see us bouncing around this sort of point, potentially when this 21 comes up. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be that imminent. We're going to see a bounce. I do think we are going to consolidate around this area for a bit, and look, potentially we are going to come down, test this downward sloping resistance line on the old RSI here, and hopefully find support there, and hopefully have some buying power. Could correlate perfectly with these two moving averages coming into a sort of a cross motion there, right? Definitely something to think about in terms of trading VeChain, right? Definitely good stuff indeed. The MACD right now, let's have a little look at the MACD right now. We are looking pretty bullish on the MACD. Seeing a little bit of a trend reversal here, but that's obviously this resistance point which we are finding here from these lower highs. So definitely something to consider and definitely something to look at. But we're pretty far away from a bearish crossover right now. In terms of bearish crossover, what we would be looking for, we have seen this sort of cycle play out from this higher high down, coming down here, right? We have seen it get broken here. So in the next sort of cycle that we are looking for something, a bearish crossover on the MACD. Probably come to around this sort of point here. And then we're looking at sort of some sort of support or trend line looking around this sort of level here. So potentially coming down, hitting that there. But obviously, it's all in speculation because we don't know where that second downtrend is really going to form, right? Very interesting stuff, right? Definitely something to consider. But main points, I'd be looking at a bounce from this 55, right? Bounce from this 55 and then coming back up for this retest of this crucial point here. And that's VeChain, right? That's VeChain. Let me move to WRX. And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button. Helps me out tremendously. And guys, I do stream every single morning from Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. So if you do want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, you're never going to miss one of my streams. You're never going to miss one of my uploads. I do emergency Bitcoin videos, emergency Ethereum videos, altcoin videos. I'm just continuously making content, right? Because I enjoy that now. It's my hobby, right? But yeah, so WRX at the moment, let's jump to that 1 day, the daily time frame. I mean, before we even started dumping here, we were actually having that continuation period to the downside, that switch in the trend. But, I mean, to be honest, how parabolic this went on the daily is pretty expected, right? It's pretty expected. I've never done a T on this coin, but yeah, it's pretty expected right now. If you are going to go to a parabolic motion like this, right, you're looking at some sort of major correction, whether we're having some fall off in Bitcoin or not. So yeah, this is pretty... I'm not going to say it's healthy, right? I'm not going to say it's healthy, but as you can see, last time we pumped, we have come down a bit, right? Last time we pumped, we have come down a bit. Last time we had that insane pump, we have that correction, right? So this is fine. This is fine. I'm not saying that it's going to basically continue down from here if we didn't have this insane pump to the downside for Bitcoin, right? But as you can see, from this down this insane downtrend that we have from Bitcoin, we have seen that quick reversal, right? It's been a quick reversal, that insane buying power in literally a day, right? That insane buying power in literally a day. Let's do a little percent on that. We saw literally 134%. 134%, very nice indeed in terms of buying strength to the upside for literally one day, one candle. Very, very nice indeed. And that's an indication that there's a lot of strength in this coin itself. And I do think that it's not out of the woods, right? It's not out of the woods, but in terms for it to get out of the woods, we do need to cross this 21. We need to not find this resistance, which we're currently finding on this 21 moving average that we've got going here on the daily, and we do need to find a nice level of support on it, and that is around $1.83 in terms of a target for the daily there. And then you've got obviously the price action channel and the 55 moving average coming down, which is this green one. There would be your next target at around $2, right? Around $2. And when this topped out, absolute topped out around $6. And obviously the top out close, the all-time high close was around this $4 mark. So definitely, wow, that's a massive, massive distance, right? Yeah, so that's definitely something to think about in terms of targets for this coin. I do think it can get there, but I think it's just going to need a little bit of time, right? It's going to need a little bit of time. But I do have confidence because obviously you're seeing this insane buying power to the upside here, setting those strong higher lows here. I've seen a little bit of a trend reversal here, but in order to reverse this reversal, in a sense, we do need to see a nice level of support on this 21 moving average here as well, right? And that's the daily for WRX there. Let's go on to the midterm, the 4 hour here. It's not looking bad at all, right? It's not looking bad at all. We have actually seen this insane pump, right? We've seen this insane pump to the upside, setting those higher lows continuously all the way up, and then, as I said before, it is always nice to have a correction, right? We need that correction for it to be healthy. So that's basically what it's done here. We've had that correction, and now we've had a nice little bit of an uptrend here as well, right? Nice little bit of an uptrend, very nice. And now we're having that correction, preparing for the next bounce, right? Preparing for that next bounce to the upside. In terms of a target, I would be looking at a bounce on this 55 moving average at around $1.47. Obviously, it's all speculation on what Bitcoin does, because if Bitcoin dumps off a cliff, which it is actually dumping off a cliff, right? It's dumping off a cliff, and I said it is probably going to bounce off this 21 moving average here and potentially go up from there, right? Obviously, we're going to see how that happens, see what happens there. But obviously, that is, you can see live, it is having an effect on this coin itself, right? Potential bounce point, as I said, would be this 55 at that $1.47. If we're not going to see that, hopefully we can find a nice level of support at this 21 and this price action channel here at around $1.41. If you are, once we do get that bounce to the upside, we are potentially looking at a target for around this $1.85. Hopefully, if we find a level of support on that, the next target would be the 200 SMA there. And as you can see here, there is primarily a bit of resistance from that as well. So that could be a potential pullback point, potentially a consolidation period around this zone here, right now, on for the 4 hour, right? For the 4 hour on the midterm for WRX at the moment for the RSI, we're not I think I've got a car alarm going off outside, and we don't have we're not overbought, right? We're not insanely overbought here. We would need to be in this zone to be overbought. So you need to take into account if we are going to see that swing to the upside, right? If we are going to see that swing to the upside, we're pretty close to the top side of this RSI here. So we could see that overbought period happen, overbuying period happen, right? Can't make sense of my own words, right? So that basically initiates we are going to see some sort of pullback rejection from there, potentially seeing a level of support around here, right? That if we do come back down, we are going to see a level of support there, which we could bounce from. But in order for that to happen, the RSI is going to need to be overextended and then basically get rejected from there. Let me do OGN, right? Let me do OGN in a second. Yeah, so that's WRX in terms of a long-term target. Well, the midterm target, I would be looking at that 184. Very crucial indeed, right? But as I said, that bounce to 55. Watch that. Watch that. Watch that. I did say to Tom, I'd do Phantom. Let me jump onto OGN and quickly summarize that, and then I'll jump onto Phantom, Tom. Apologies. In answer to everyone's question right now, I would not be buying this right now. That's like just some FOMO right now. If you're going to be buying it, you're probably going to get wrecked. You're probably going to get... It's gone pretty parabolic, right? It has taken off, right? It's taken off quite a lot in terms of percentages for the day here. In terms of percentages for the day, that's the wrong point there. We're looking at... Oh, it's not too bad for the daily, right? This daily close happened around this point here. This daily close, yeah, I mean, right now you're still up 15%. You did hit that 25% mark, and as that basically means you have pulled back 10% pretty recently, right? Pretty recently you have pulled back 10%. So at this point in time, I wouldn't be getting in. I'd be waiting for that confirmation of the support on this level here, and that is around $1.28. I know you're probably thinking, oh, but I'm going to get in late. but you don't know if we're going to see a nice level of resistance here. If we see a nice level of resistance here, we could come back all the way down and touch this 55, right? And that's around $1 there. So it's definitely something to consider. Let me just jump back. Let me jump to Phantom for Tom there. Phantom. Don't know how the thing for... Yeah, there we go. FTM. Very nice indeed. Very nice. Let me jump to the daily quickly. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Pretty strong. Obviously... not taking into account this huge dump here, right? We are setting those higher lows continuously. The higher highs are being respected on the daily here. Very nice. Nice support on the 200 moving average as well. Absolute low point, if we are to dump here, it would be around that 27 cents, but obviously it's the daily, so I don't think we're going to see an absolute massive sell-off right now, although Bitcoin is dumping, right? Bitcoin is dumping and coming down to test that 21. So keep your eyes on that. If we are to lose the 21, our next point of support is this major trend line that we've got coming here for this rising wedge that we've got going on here. And if we are to lose that, maybe we got a potential short trade looking in there in terms of a measure move, right? Could be looking at something along the lines of this, right? Could be something to think about, right? Could be something to think about whether we grind along there or whether we break it here. Whether we break it here, I'd be waiting to get in on the retest and then to come down and probably touch this 55, and I wouldn't be waiting for that measure move for that insane completion right away. I mean, it's not that great. It's a bit of a scalp there around near enough 2%, right? So for me, it's probably not worth the hassle. And in terms of the validity right now, the volatile market that we're looking at, it is dumping off a cliff, right? So yeah, it's probably something that I wouldn't be looking at in my opinion. Right, back to Phantom for now. Yeah, this is the daily chart for Phantom. Let me jump to the 4 hour quickly. As you can see, we are sat on the price action channel, right? We're sat on the price action channel, and we are finding a nice level of support here on this horizontal support line at this point at 36 cents, right? 36 cents. We are finding a nice level of support there. If we do break that, next target to the downside would be this 21 moving average at around 33 cents. Obviously, this is the midterm as well. If we're looking at a bounce here, we could be looking at another test of this 55 moving average here, and that'd basically be ideal, right? It would basically be ideal if we could get a bounce to that and then come up and set a higher high in terms of this uptrend which we're having here. But as I said a second ago on quite a lot of the charts, they're all looking the same here. So if we're looking at this insane pump from the upside, we had that basically that pullback, that consolidation zone, and then a pump to the upside, right? A lot of the charts have done this pump to the upside today, so I can see a potential consolidation zone happening along this horizontal level of support, basically going up and down in between that and the 55 there, just to basically level out the market and not have this insane pump, because at this point in time, Phantom is up today. Let me do a little daily percent, right? Daily percent from where we opened. Yeah, from where we opened today, we're looking at this point, we're still up 10%, right? It's still 10% up in a day for a currency that is just absolutely insane, right? So yeah, definitely something to think about. We could have a consolidation period from here, but it's not the end of the world, because on the daily, we're still setting those higher highs. We're still setting those higher lows down here, so we're still in that, in a sense, a nice uptrend, healthy uptrend on the daily, looking for that nice V-shaped recovery. And our lower highs, we're pretty far away from those lower highs here on Phantom, so we don't actually have as much buying strength as a lot of the other cryptos there. But that would be the next sort of test point for the daily. Back to the midterm quickly. Yeah, back to the midterm. Ideally, we would like to see a bounce and finding support on this 55. But as I said, we are likely to bounce in between these two and have a nice consolidation period there. So watch out for that. But if we are to lose that, we are likely to potentially even bounce off this 21 here and can have that continuation to the upside. I don't really see us getting lower than this higher low that we've got going on here. But if we are to R2D2, if we are to get lower than that, I can see a bounce happening on this volume weighted ATR band and this horizontal level of support here at 26 cents. God, that's cheap. At 26 cents there. So potential for that. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen in my opinion. I think this is too strong here. We've got a too strong point here to hold. I don't see us breaking that anytime soon, unless we do have an insane panic sell-off as we did before for Bitcoin, right? Yeah, let me have a look at the chat. So 100% probably too risky now. Don't know. Yeah, it's too risky in my opinion for Phantom. Maybe not for Phantom. I think no, we're on about OGN, weren't we? Let me go back to OGN quickly for you guys in there. I did do a nice brief summary on it there, just because we had people screaming for it. Yeah, so I hope I did a bit of a good TA there for you there on Phantom there, Tom. But yeah, OGN right now, that is, as I said a second ago, that's pretty parabolic in my opinion. We're lucky we've come down, right? We're lucky we've come down, and we'll be looking at this point here as pretty crucial, right? Pretty crucial point to get over. and it is near enough testing. Well, it did actually find the resistance off these lower highs here, right? Did find that resistance off these lower highs, and that's what I've been talking about. That's what I was talking about for 2.5 hours this morning on my stream, right? We are going to see heavy resistance. Like, let's get rid of the moving averages for now, right? Let's get rid of the moving average for now. These lower highs that we do need to break, right? These lower highs that we do need to break, they're going to cause us some insane resistance, and it could, in a sense, cause a reversal in the trend, right? It could cause a reversal in the trend, and in a sense, invalidate all of this uptrend that we've been having, right? If we do find enough resistance there. So it's really, really crucial to watch these points over the next day or so. Across all altcoins, across Bitcoin, mainly Bitcoin, right? If we do see that break on Bitcoin at this level here, at that 42, 41, then it's good. It's very good indeed. But we are likely to see some resistance and a pullback happening there, and obviously that's gonna do something to the rest of the altcoins there as well. So definitely a point to watch. In terms of like getting into this now, I would not be getting into this now anytime soon. As I said, I'd be waiting to get over this level of resistance here at $1.28. Because obviously that, and we're still going to be testing lower highs here pretty significantly, and we're likely to find resistance. If you're looking for like a small time trade right now, I would be waiting to get over this point here, and I'd be looking at a nice small trade, looking something along the lines of this. Still 11%, right? Not that small, but something along the lines of this, and potentially seeing some resistance around this point here, because that would be the next target. But crucially, you do want to be waiting until we get over this this level of resistance at 127, right? Because we could pull back pretty easily, right? We could easily pull back, as this has been pretty parabolic, right? This has been pretty parabolic in terms of buying power. So that indicates that we do have some potential FOMO in the market as well, right? Some potential FOMO in the market, and then we see all the people at the top here going, oh God, we've dropped down a bit. Time to sell. And then we're going to see the sort of retracement like that, right? Potential target for the retracement there is around 78 cents there. Pretty ambitious in my opinion. I don't think we're going to get that low. And that's why you want to bring up some moving average as well here. As you can see, we do have the 55 moving average coming up, the 21, and the price action channel. So likelihood scenario for happening, we're going to bounce off this 200 to the downside here. Not find enough support on this $1.28 set, $1.28 horizontal support line here. Sorry, horizontal resistance line. We're going to find resistance there, and then we're going to come down and test this 55 at around sort of this level if it plays out in a consolidation sort of downwards trend. Not too volatile, right? Just gonna have a drink of water. Phantom FTM. I just did Phantom. Very nice. Let me bring up FTM again. FTM. And you're saying a potential buy opportunity, are you, Sam? Potential buy opportunity. Yeah, I mean, we are at a pretty crucial point. Obviously, if you're looking for a hodl, then I wouldn't be getting in just as of yet. I would be waiting for a pullback potentially around to this sort of level here, around 35. So pretty not even that significant, right? A few dollars, right? We are actually on the midterm here. We are testing this price action channel, so we'll be looking at. We got a level of support in there hidden behind. We do have a level of support in there which we are currently testing, right? If we are to find a nice level of support on that over the next 4 hours or so. Sorry, the next 2.5 hours or so, then yes, potential buy position, potential long position up to this 55 here. In terms of a percent right now, you would be looking at something along the lines of a 10% if we are to surge to the upside from there, which could be nice. But as I'm talking, it's dumping, and we're likely to close below it in the next 2.5 hours or so if we are to lose the price action channel as well, right? Definitely something to consider. But yeah, as I was saying a second ago, right, these are the lower highs for Phantom, right? And yeah, you're right, Sam. We're not quite there. We're not quite at those at these lower high resistance points, right? So we do have the potential to have that upwards momentum, right? That upwards momentum. But yeah, as I said before, we're likely to sort of consolidate around this period because we have seen that nice upswing, and that's usually what happens before we. If we are going to come down, right? If we are going to come down and have a sort of a repeat of history of this previous swing here. As I said, the low point here would be around 33 cents there. So definitely something to consider. But yeah, if you're looking for like a little bit of a swing here, I'd be waiting for that close above that horizontal level of support and looking for that 10% there. Very nice indeed, right? Ahoy there, Ivo. Ahoy, sir. Any other big ones, please? Should we do ADA, right? Let's do a bit of ADA. I do like ADA. Very bullish on ADA. Love everything they're doing Africa. If you don't know about that, go watch the Cardano Africa video on YouTube. Very interesting in terms of fundamentals for that coin, right? Yeah, very, very bullish on ADA. It's done insanely well today, right? It has done insanely well. I do think it was one of my 3 altcoins to watch for the day. But yeah, it has done insanely well. In terms of what's happening at this point in time, we are setting these higher highs continuously. But as I said on a lot of charts, this point, we do have these lower highs to smash through, right? These lower high resistance points that we do need to get through, and which is what we're currently testing at this point in time, right? Ideally, we need to find a nice level of support here. We need to find a nice level of support for that confirmation of the progressionary momentum towards the upside, right? If we can find a nice level of support there, ideal, right? Absolutely ideal. Obviously, this is the daily. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but, well, technically, we are going to see a new candle overnight, but it's not going to, in terms of price action, we're not going to see this, like, imminently jump up over a day, right? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But in order to find that support, we do need to get that candle close probably around this 1.86 sort of zone. And then we basically going to look at the price action from there and see what it's looking like in terms of momentum to the upside. That's basically the daily, what we got going on here. In terms of the 4-hourly, but yeah, crucial points are these points here, right? They are these points, and I can't stress that enough. In terms of price action here, we do need, in terms of targets, in terms of resistance, right? If we do, as you can see here, we did see a nice wave to the upside here from that from the first sort of dump that we had here, right? A nice wave to the upside here, setting that lower high, right? Setting that lower high. But as I said, if we do get rejected at this point here, correlating with this, as you can see this line here, if we do get rejected there, then we could be seeing some sort of downwards momentum like so, right? I don't want to say we're going to, but it's a definite possibility, and you should definitely think about that when trading this at this point in time, right? Definitely something to think about. If we do clear that, brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. We could be looking at a surge to the upside, and the target, I don't want to sound really negative, right? And then the target could be around $2.30, or potentially looking at that all-time high point at around that $2.47 in terms of the wick. In terms of the close, the $2.41, that would be the next sort of target for ADA there. Definitely something to consider, but this point is crucial because if we don't respect this, it is basically going to invalidate everything that we have been seeing here, right? Everything that we have been seeing here, and then we're going to basically come down, see that resistance, potentially have a bounce period on this 200 moving average here, this 55 moving average here, this 21 moving average here, and the price action channel. And if I may say, they're pretty coiled up indeed. So that does initiate some sort of breakout in the price, right? Some sort of breakout in the price. But if we are to see the resistance point here on ADA, we are likely to come down, potentially test this 55, and potentially see a consolidation period. If we are going to have that continuation down, we're going to see quite a lot of support. We're going to see quite a lot of support here, which we do need to think about in terms of moving averages. But on the worst case scenario, if we lose all of them, I would be looking at around this $1.50 mark. And for me, that's a buy. It's an accumulation zone for ADA. As I said, very bullish on ADA. And I do think ADA is one of the altcoins. If we are in the confirmed bear market, right, the dreaded bear market, I do think ADA has got potential to trade against it, right? Once the bear market has leveled out and we've stopped having all these panic sells, right? I do think ADA does have the potential to recover and basically trade against it and get to some new all-time highs in terms of the fundamentals that they are offering as a coin themselves, right? Let me jump onto BNB. BNB, baby. I do like BNB. Bullish on BNB as well. Very, very good stuff happening there. And their fees are just so cheap compared to Ethereum, right? So goddamn cheap. As you can see, we did have this rising wedge. Pattern here for BNB here. I don't know why that one's yellow, right? For this rising wedge pattern for BNB here. And we did break that, right? We did break that pretty significantly, right? We did break that significantly to the downside, and that was a measure move, right? That was a measure move that I guess got played out. That's a pretty terrible measure move, right? I would be doing something along the lines. If it's that, like, near enough that horizontal, I would be doing it like this. But in my opinion, for crypto, this is a pretty greedy measure move, right? This is a pretty greedy measure move when you do it from the start of the chart pattern, right? Start of the chart pattern, it would be pretty greedy. I like to do it literally from the lowest point, just to confirm that it's not going to be some sort of trap here. But yeah, as you can see, we did complete that measure move pretty simply. Not too bad at all. At this point in time, the level of support we are looking for is around that 334 level, which we're looking at. Next target point of resistance is this volume weighted ATR band at 439. Ideally, we want to get there. We want to find a nice level of support on there, but we do need to take into account we do have these major moving averages coming down here, the 55, the 21, and the price action channel. And the price action channel is basically it's basically all of the moving averages basically plotted up together, and it creates a very very reliable point of resistance and support here, right? We do come down, we do come test it quite a bit, and it's very nice. It's better on smaller time frames, but as you can see, we're on the daily right now. But in terms of a daily target, I would be looking for, not obviously today, but a daily target over the next week or so. I would be looking for this volume weighted ATR band to find support on there. But obviously, take into account we do have these major moving averages coming down. If we are going to lose, if we're going to lose this higher high that we are losing, that we've currently set in this candle here, we could be looking at coming down and testing this level of support at 333. If we do lose that, if we do see some downwards momentum, especially in Bitcoin, because that obviously will lead BNB. The low point for me is this 200 moving average at 283, and yeah, that is still a pretty big buy in my opinion. Still a pretty big buy, because I do see some insane stuff happening for BNB. I mean, if we even had the idea of reclaiming this rising wedge that we've got going on here, testing the top side will put us around 800-900. Would be absolutely crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So yeah, definitely something to think about if we are gonna basically overcome this bull market barrier on Bitcoin and switch back to a bull market, right? Definitely something to think about, because it is going to pick all the alts up with it, right? Let's jump to the midterm for BNB here. Najama Matic. Brilliant NX. Funny stuff there. As you can see, on the midterm for Binance Coin right now, we are setting these high lows, right? We're setting these high lows continuously. It's nice. It's healthy. We're getting those buys, getting the correction, getting those buys, getting that correction. Currently, target for me would be getting over this 55 moving average here, and then coming up to test these lower high points on that previous downtrend. I can't stress enough how crucial these points are on literally all the coins here. So yeah, we are going to see a consolidation period, or potentially some resistance here, and luckily we do have this 55 coming in here, because if we do find a nice level of support on that, we could actually come up to this point here, which would be around that point there. If we can come up to there, in terms of a price for that point, there we go. In terms of a price for that point, it's $412. If we can get to around that point, and we're likely to see some resistance there. I'm not saying we're not. We're likely to see some resistance, but we do have the 55 here to catch us if we do see a bit of a downswing happening, right? A bit of a downswing happening. We do have the 55 to catch us, potentially a bounce point here before we find that support on this horizontal resistance line at 430, right? That would be the sort of next target I'd be looking for if we're going to the upside, right? If we're going to the upside, I do think that's a great target right now. We are setting higher highs in terms of these swings, which is very good indeed. At this point in time, we are setting lower highs, right? We're setting lower highs on this current candle. So that's initiating. That's it. It's initiating that we are going to come down, lose this 55, find the resistance from that. Where we are finding the resistance from that, come down, test this price action channel to the downside for now, and that is around at $3.50. So in terms of a prediction on price, before we see another bounce to the upside, I do see us coming down to around $3.50. In terms of the RSI, what's happening here? Actually, it's looking pretty good, right? We do have this downward sloping resistance line on BNB here, so it's looking like we are looking to bounce from that. If we find a nice level of support on that, we're looking to bounce from that and see a nice bit of buying power, right? A nice bit of buying power, which could correlate perfectly with the price action channel here, or just before it. And then we basically bounce back up and test this 55 again. A couple of tests on that 55 before testing the crucial point at $412 there. Definitely something to think about, because as we do have this 21 moving average coming up as well, the longer we're scurrying around here, the potential support we're going to get from this 21, hopefully giving us that momentum to push to the upside and finally challenge back on this 200 SMA there, right? That is that's the BNB done. BNB done. We are back. Yes, we are, Skydemex. Yes, we are. Just gonna have some more water there. And guys, if you're liking this stream here, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I am a new guy on the block. I do need that help with those YouTube algos. They're pretty hard to get involved with, right? Pretty hard to get involved with. Yes, I have been streaming literally like a week and a half, so I am still trying to work on my presentation, I guess, and getting my point across in the right way, right? Get my point across in the right way. But yeah, guys, it means a lot you guys being here and holding the 8 viewers. Very nice indeed. Cheers, guys. Means a lot. Any coins there you want me to do? I'm gonna jump to what did Esros say there a second ago? He said he would like a bit of ETH. Let's do Ethereum, right? Do a bit of Ethereum. I've been bullish on Ethereum literally for quite a goddamn while, right? We all saw it around that 2K mark, and then we saw the insane progression to the upside. In terms of percentages for around that point there, it was like a 90% gain for Ethereum. Very, very nice indeed. One of my good mates held Ethereum for that whole run basically, and then sold at the top. Very, very nice indeed to see. Very good very good to see, right? Very good to see one of my close mates making money trading crypto, right? At this point in time, for on the 4 hour, right? On the 4 hour for Ethereum, we are testing this 55 moving average. Hopefully we can find a nice level of support here. If we can find a nice level of support here, I would be looking, obviously to find that we do need that 4 hour to close in 2 hours and 19 minutes time. The next target would be this 200 moving average, and that is correlating pretty perfectly with this lower high point here, right? This lower high point here, and we are seeing just the start of this resistance, right? We're seeing the start of the resistance. Vive la resistance. The resistance coming through here. That needs to move. Yeah, the resistance that we're seeing here is because we are challenging these lower highs here in that crucial dump down, right? That crucial dump down for Ethereum there. We are challenging that lower high and we are seeing that resistance there. So luckily we do have that 55 to kind of catch us here. Hopefully it can. Hopefully it can hold the resistance and we can find a nice level of support there. If we can, I would love to see us to come up and test this within the next 8 to 12 hours or so. That would be ideal in my book because as soon as we find a nice level of support there, we're going to get a nice level of support on this 200 as well, hopefully. If we do, that is a great sign that Ethereum is going to take another leg up, right? It's going to take another leg up because obviously we have seen this pump here. We've seen this consolidation downwards sort of swing back. Basically the correction of this insane pump that we've had here, seeing that lower low at the bottom there. Right now, we are seeing this correction as well, right? We're seeing that correction from that downwards, from this pump to the upside, right? From this pump to the upside, we're seeing this correction, seeing that bounce on the 55. It's healthy, right? It's healthy. We are going down here, right? I know people are like, oh God, I'm so bullish on Ethereum. I want it to go to the moon. I hold so much, but I am still bullish on Ethereum, right? But we do need to have these corrections, as I was just saying, right? We need these corrections for it to be healthy, right? Very much indeed. In terms of targets, as I just said, that 2,933 mark level of support at that 200 moving average would be very crucial indeed. In terms of what's happening on the RSI right now, we do have this downwards sloping resistance line that we need to think about, because if we can come down and find a nice level of support on that, as did this previous downtrend that we had coming through here, right? This previous downtrend, this previous sell-off that we had here, we got caught. We got caught by this downward sloping resistance line. Essentially a downward sloping support line now if we're finding support on it. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about. If we are going to come down, we do have something to potentially catch us. Unfortunately, it is going to catch us a bit lower than this potential downswing here. So if you look at a percentage for that downswing there, obviously it's not going to come in line on the chart with the higher low that we're setting there. But in terms of the swing down, it could be pretty significant, but not quite. Because obviously this one here is around that length, right? We could be looking at something a bit longer than that. Not quite double, but looking at something potentially along the lines of this level of support here at around 2,500, right? 2,508 to be exact, right? And then potentially a bounce from there if we're correlating perfectly with the RSI there. Definitely something to think about with Ethereum there. But as I said, that's obviously to the downside if we don't get caught by this 55 moving average and Bitcoin doesn't fall off a cliff, which it is looking like it's falling off a cliff. It's a 39,200, right? Let me jump that chart up right now. As you can see, we did actually wick down. We wicked down below this major trend line that we've got coming up for this rising wedge that we're going on here. And we're seeing a nice recovery, right? We're seeing a nice recovery. We did get down to 38,800 here. 38,900 we got down to there. And we found a nice level of support there. We found a nice level of support on this trend line here. As I previously stated, it's pretty likely to happen, and then we're going to basically come up and hopefully find a nice level of support on this 21 moving average as well. There's a giant fly coming towards me. Yeah, on this 21 moving average as well, and hopefully we can potentially get a nice candle close on the hourly for 16 minutes time above this 21, and then we can get a nice bounce from there, smashing through this horizontal resistance point, correlating perfectly with this 200 moving average that we've got coming through as well. So that is a few things to think about. Target price, I would be looking at target price for the short term of around 39,600, 39,600 in terms of a close. I would be looking at 39,750 around that point. And then if we are looking for an ambitious close above the 10 moving average as well, it would be at 39,900, 40,000 sort of mark for that confirmation of that next sort of leg up, right? The reversal in the trend, which we are hopefully seeing, right? Which we're hopefully seeing. But at this point in time, as you can see, we are setting these lower highs, right? We are setting these lower highs continuously. We have seen a bit of a price reversal here, but we are setting these lower highs, right? We're setting these lower highs, so that is an indication that we are going to continue down. But having a candle this big here, it's likely that we are going to basically come back up here. If we bring up the RSI, bring up the RSI. As you can see here, sorry, on the MACD here, we have just had that bullish crossover, right? We had that just had that bullish crossover on the MACD there. Definitely something to consider, because if we are going to see that downtrend coming down to the downside, it's likely that we're going to come down to this 55 moving average, coming down to this downwards, this downward sloping resistance line, right? Coming down to that point and potentially having a bounce from there. If we see a bounce point on this, a level of support on this trend line for the MACD here, definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider for Bitcoin there. Let me bring up the RSI again, sorry. Bring up the RSI again, because we are seeing that selling power to the downside, right? That selling power to the downside, not quite central. So it's a long way to go before we get oversold, right? And that's an indication if we are going to get oversold, we're going to be looking at something probably along the lines of, let me get rid of that, something along the lines of this. And then once we're oversold, we're going to have that buyback, right? We're going to have that buyback in the price, and that could basically initiate that we might even lose this trend line and lose this moving average here. Potentially, I don't want to say setting a lower high here, setting a lower high in terms of a big reversal in the trend here. I don't want to see that happening, but if we do get that low, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a high low in terms of Bitcoin, right? So that doesn't indicate that we are going to have a complete trend reversal. But as I said before, we are likely to find a big level of resistance along this point here. And I think this is more or less the start of it, right? This is more or less the start of it. As you can see, we are seeing that downward selling power there. Now we're at 39,100, right? Crucial time for Bitcoin here. So definitely something to watch there. In likelihood, we are going to bounce here. Hopefully, we are going to bounce here because we do have quite a lot of support playing out. And that would basically be ideal, right? That would be ideal. Oh, the chat didn't update. That's annoying. Hey, your bro's on at the same time. You should split it up. Yeah, I don't want to take his views here. Like, not at all. I don't want to. If you guys want to watch my brother, watch him over me. Like, definitely. Yeah. I don't want to be taking his people here. Not at all. I would like a like on the video to get me on the algorithm, so I can branch out to new people, right, and get some new people there. That would be ideal, right? So if you're enjoying the stream, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? And also, guys, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you want to jump on that, press that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? I do upload altcoin videos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, all different videos like that in terms of emergency updates. I do that stuff as well. So if you never want to miss my uploads, hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button, baby. Let's back to ETH for now. Back to ETH for now. We are looking, as I said, this crucial zone to get over, but we are seeing that downwards momentum, hopefully bouncing on this 55 there. Dean wanted ETH, right? Dean wanted ETH. I did just do ETH, but yeah. Yeah, so hopefully we're going to bounce. We are here. Yes, sir. Hopefully we are going to bounce on this 55 here, and basically come up and test this crucial level. We'll stick around, HQ. Cheers, Tom. Hopefully we can basically come up and not find another level of resistance on this point here, and we can break it to the upside and find a nice level of support on this 200, right? That's the ideal scenario for Ethereum right now. In terms of a price target, I would be looking at getting over this 2,872 mark, and then the next target would be the 2,900. And then if we can get a nice couple of 4-hourly closes, potentially a couple of hourly closes above this sort of point that we've got going on here. Obviously, this is insane resistance point, as I was saying. If we get a nice few closes above that, that would be ideal, and basically initiate a leg up. And we do obviously have this volume-weighted ATR band coming through as well, so that is something we would be looking at as a crucial target. If we can get above that, my throat. If we can get above that and see a progression read to the upside, that would be very good indeed. Very, very good indeed. Is the brother bullish or bearish? Hammy is the long short. For me, at this point in time, I am. It's a very tricky question at this point, and for me, the crucial decider is right now. Right, it's happening right now. If we can clear this lower high on this downtrend here, and we can see progression read to the upside from there, then I'm going to be back to bullish, right? But at this point in time, it's looking pretty bearish in my opinion, and these swings to the upside, it's just looking like people are getting friendly with the market again, and we're getting back in, and everyone's, in a sense, going to trap the market, and we are going to fall off a cliff here. Obviously, all depending on this resistance point here and these resistance points as we're coming up, right, from these lower highs. If we can break that, then that's basically initiation that this trend isn't basically fake, and we are going to basically have that continuation to the upside. And that basically brings me on to the long term of Bitcoin, because if we can get over those lower highs there, and we reclaim this bull market barrier, then that's exactly where I'm going to be flipping back bullish, right? I'm not quite bearish. I'm pretty undecided right now on where I am, whether I'm bullish or bearish, just because it just could be a complete shakeout in the market, this whole thing here, and there was a lot of panic selling going on here. So really, in my opinion, we should have actually probably got to around here. We shouldn't have come all the way down to 30k. But yeah, I think we could see some reclaim of this bull market barrier pretty imminently. But if I jump back to the previous bull trend, if it's going to load, if I jump back to the previous bull trend here. Sorry, the bull market that we had here. As you can see, let me do a little bit of explanation why we could be seeing some sort of fake uptrend here in a sense. No, you are bearish. Lovely bearish talk. Handle this, guys, too early for you. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying here, the reason why we could be having this fake out here and this upwards momentum here in terms of a price. As you can see last time, when we actually lost this bull market barrier here and we switched to that bear market, well, the bear market here, we did actually see a recovery in the price by near enough 100%, right? 97% recovery in the price, which is just absolutely insane for Bitcoin, before having that continuation down to the downside. So when this happened last time, when we saw that low of 6K for Bitcoin there, we actually retraced all the way back up to near enough 12K there. And you can imagine the buying power. You can imagine the buying power and the confidence that was restored in the market when that was to happen, right? Quite a lot, right? Quite a lot. So it makes you think, if that's worked so well and then they dumped the price all the way down to 3K, right? Why wouldn't they do it again? They made so much goddamn money. They made so much goddamn money. Why wouldn't they do it again when it's all worth a lot more, right? So that's basically an option to think about, and that's why those crucial lower highs up here are really crucial, because if we can get over them, it is a nice indication that the trend is going to continue up, and we are going to see some new all-time highs for Bitcoin there. But if not, we are going to see some swift rejection off around this 43k zone. But let's talk about that 41 and the 42 targets first before we even contemplate getting to that 43k zone, in my opinion, right? So yeah, at this point in time, pretty undecided whether bullish or bearish, but I'm open-minded, but I'm not naive to the fact that we could have some swings to the upside before colossal dumpage, right? So definitely things to take into account, and that's why I'm really taking into account these lower highs a lot more than I would do usually, right? No, you are bearish. Oh, God. Nice to see you here again, Ivo. OG out here, right? But yeah, so Ethereum right now, we actually just lost the 21. We lost the 21 on the 1 hourly, right? We lost the 21 on the 1 hourly. Looking for the bounce on the 200 at 2,694 here. Currently dumping quite significantly. And that makes me think, yep, Bitcoin is dumping as well, right? 39,024, just about to lose 39,000 for Bitcoin. Live price action here down at Crypto Chest. Live price action here, potentially coming down to this price action channel here. Yeah, pretty crazy. Pushing short at 38,900, right? 38,900. I mean, potential, right? You do have potential for that. I did discuss that position earlier, actually. If we are leaving this rising wedge here, there could be a potential measure move to the downside here. Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider. But as I said, for me, in terms of getting into that trade with this major level of support that we've got coming down here, I do think we are likely to have a bounce there, and we've got this 55 moving average here as well, and the price action channel. So there is quite a bit of support to get through in terms of entering a short here. Sorry, trying to catch my breath. My throat burns when I talk so much. Oh, very nice indeed. Yeah, so we do have quite a bit of support. Looking at it is going to hold the price of Bitcoin up, hopefully, right? Ideally, if we are to lose this level here, if we're here to lose this level, that's more of a short idea that I would be looking at, just because obviously you can see the downwards momentum from this trend line. Like, you can see the downwards momentum from this downwards sloping resistance line. Like, definitely that downwards momentum is there on this trend line. So if we are to lose it, we're to lose the 55 as well. So that is a potential short position to look at as well, right? Potentially take profit at a higher low coming down here, right? Something along the lines of this. In terms of percent rise, I would be looking at something along the lines of this. Say if we are to lose it, obviously depending on where we lose it along this downward sloping resistance line, potentially like a 2-3% trade there. Not too bad, but in terms of a scalp, for me, it's not that great. Like, I like my swing trades. I like those bigger percentages. But yeah, that would be the measure move down. But as I said, there is a lot of support there to think about. And all of that hassle for literally like a 2% gain, in my opinion, for me, it's not really worth it, right? No disrespect to you, of course, Ivo, right? Too short, exactly as my wife says Ivo. Very, very funny guy, very funny guy. So has anyone got any requests in the chat? Dump your altcoins in there, and I will do a little TA for you if you would like, right? For now, I'm going to jump to RUNE. I'm going to jump to RUNE on the daily here for the long term. It's pretty messy right now. We do have falling wedges coming out of everywhere. But yeah, as you can see, we have been in this this giant price channel that we've been in since the bull run began. Yeah, back in October, November, right? Since that bull run started. And we have been respecting it from either side, right? The only time we didn't respect it is when we actually fell off a cliff pretty recently, right? When we fell off a cliff pretty recently. But we did respect this 200 moving average, right? We did respect this 200 moving average, which is pretty good to see, right? And this monthly pivot point, in terms of a pivot point, we did respect that as well and got that nice bounce and the nice support off that. In terms of buying power for RUNE right now, on the daily, look at this strength, right? This strength to the upside on the daily in a mere 3 days. In a mere 3 days, we've gone from $6 all the way up to near enough, well, $12 up to $13 and $13.80 there. Near enough $14 there. So nearly 132% rise in the price for RUNE there. Absolutely crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Crucial target for RUNE, in my opinion. As you can see, we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming through here. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. We have currently tested it as well as testing the 55 and the 21 and the price action channel and this crucial bottom side of this price channel, which we've been in since the start of the bull market, right? If we can get over them, all these crucial points here, if we can find a nice level of support at around this $14 4 mark, I would be looking at a potential long position, because obviously we do have all these levels of support below us, right? We have all these levels of support below us, and that could basically initiate a nice move to the upside and looking at a potential of touching that new all-time high. If we can see that momentum to the upside there. God, Bitcoin is dumping off a cliff, 38.8 now. Crazy stuff there. But in terms of a target to the upside for RUNE, if we are to find, on the predication, we are to find a nice level of support at around 14.4 there, I would be looking at that as a potential take profit. And if we are to clear that potential long position up to the top side of this channel there as well. Very nice stuff for RUNE there. I am bullish on RUNE. But as you can see, we have seen that this pretty parabolic run up over the last few days and stuff. It doesn't look too bad, actually. We have had these correctionary consolidationary periods, right? And as you can see on the 4 hour here, we are looking at coming down to test this 55 moving average, right? This test is 55 moving average after coming up and near enough testing this 200 moving average here. But we have found a nice level of resistance there. Hopefully we can find some support on this 55 here and then have that continuation to the upside. But as I said, look at this. We are near enough in this zone for this lower high, which we do need to break, right? We do need to break this lower high. As I can't stress it anymore. I can't stress it anymore. As the continuation for the uptrend will continue, right? That's a crucial point that we need to get over. And to do that, I would be looking at a nice level of support on this 200 to back us up, right? Back us up, right? In terms of upwards momentum to the upside. So yeah, target wise, I would be looking at that $14.30, which would be ideal, right? That's the ideal scenario. Not ideal scenario is Bitcoin keeps dumping. RUNE's going to obviously dump with it because it's an altcoin and it is going to dump with it like they always goddamn do. So we are going to lose the 55 if we are to dump here. Then we've got the price action channel and the 21 moving average to hold us up as well. In terms of a horizontal support line, which we're next looking to target, is that $10.80, right? That $10.80. Definitely something to think about in terms of a bounce point. If we are to see that downwards momentum, still, don't worry too much. It is still a higher low, right? We are still setting those higher lows in terms of these main trends, right? So that's initiating that we are still in that uptrend. If we are to see a lower low point here, it's not good, right? It's not good. We're looking at a trend reversal from there. At this point in time, we are in an uptrend. It is fine, right? It is fine. Do not panic. Do not panic. In terms of the RSI right now, we are not quite overextended. Not quite overextended. I did think we were potentially going to get there through this upwards pump, just looking at the chart there, but we didn't get there, and we're actually seeing a reversal in the price. That's initiation that we could have a potential bounce point from here. And we're just looking. We are, as you can see, we've got a pretty visual trend line coming down here. Pretty visual trend line coming down here, which we are currently testing, right? We're currently testing it. If we find another level of support there, we could be looking at a bounce onto 55, right? We could be looking at a bounce off the 55, or if we lose it, we are going to see that resistance, right? We're going to see the resistance to the downside, and that's when the selling's going to start. And then we're looking at a target price of this horizontal support point at $10.80, right? And in my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if we were to get down there, just because you've seen the buying power of RUNE today, right? You've seen the buying power of RUNE. It was one of my altcoins to watch for the day. In the description for my video there, definitely one to watch, right? And definitely, if you are going to be trading RUNE right now, I would be looking at this crucial downward sloping support point that we've got going on the RSI here, right? SkyDMX says, "Can you look at Luna?" Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I'll look at Luna now. just to sum up, RUNE, target point to the downside, you're looking at 10.86 if we are to break to the downside and lose the 55. And if we do want to see that insane support to the upside, I would be looking at that $14 and probably $14.50 for a nice target to find support on that 200 moving average there, right? Luna. Jump to the daily on Luna just to see what's going on here. There we go. Wait for the chart to load. Bit of a broadening wedge coming through previously. But yeah, let's get rid of that because I hate broadening wedges. Hate them. Hate them. But yeah, not too bad in terms of price action. We did see an insane surge. We did see some insane surges to the upside. And we did have some nice healthy consolidation periods bouncing off this 21 moving average continuously before we lost it, before we were going sideways, right? Before we were going sideways for a consecutive, I'd say month or so, probably a month and a half there. But in my opinion, for a chart to be going this sideways, it's not even too bad, right? It's not even too bad once you've seen gains like this, right? In terms of percent gains right there for the start of this like bull run here, it's just been ridiculous. Like, it's just been ridiculous gains, right? Insane gains. Look at that. Near enough 7,000%, right? This just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that is why you're having this consolidation sideways period, because it's healthy, right? It's healthier than actually dumping off a cliff, right? And if Bitcoin hadn't dumped off a cliff and we had that massive panic sell here, I wouldn't have seen this dumping, right? I'd have probably seen a bit more consolidation, a bit more uncertainty in the market in a sense, and then potentially another leg up, as you can probably relate to with the price of what XRP was doing throughout the bull run, right? We're having nice waves of XRP, then consolidation periods there. At this point in time, obviously we did have that insane dump to the downside, but you can see on the daily we have these insane buying power right now. Insane buying power, higher lows being set continuously. Higher high being set here. We did see a bit of a retracement here, but obviously this was that massive buy up from when we hit that bottom period at $3 and 97, right? $3.97. That's pretty much the daily stand up at this point in time. Target for the daily would be this 200 moving average that we've got going on here at $8.90 there. In terms of midterm right now, it's good news. It's good news. We're above the volume weighted ATR band. We're setting higher lows continuously here. We're setting nice higher lows continuously here, signaling that uptrend that we've got going on here. Which is, I mean, it looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good. I'd be inclined to be watching this pretty dominant trend line here. Jesus, fly, man. this pretty dominant trend line here, which we are currently testing, right? I would be pretty cautious in watching that, because if we are to lose that, I'd say the next target would be around $5.42, right? That would be the next target to the downside. And as you can see here, we have seen that reversal in the trend from the price action channel. So we are actually heading down. We've just lost the 21 moving average here. Crucial point here on this this trend line to the upside, right? If we lose it, as I said, target price of this volume weighted ATR band, looking for a bounce from there, right? Worst case scenario, we lose the volume weighted ATR band. I can't see us losing that anytime soon, in my opinion, unless there's an insane panic sell-off and Bitcoin is to dump significantly. And we have just recovered $150 with Bitcoin there, so it's looking good in terms of buying power. So at this point in time, I can't see us coming down anywhere near this lowest low point that we actually found in that insane panic sell-off, right? Thanks, cool. No worries. But yeah, if we are to bounce off this point here, we're looking, ideal target point, we're looking to find a nice level of support on this 21 moving average here. 21 moving average, we're looking to find a nice level of support, get a nice 4-hourly close just above that. Still 2 hours left to get there, so we could get there pretty easily, in my opinion, right? If we do get there, we could be looking at a nice open somewhere around this point, at around that $7.11 there, and then potentially progression momentum to the upside, progression to the upside, with a lot of momentum in buying power, right? Losing my words again. Yeah, obviously we do have this price action channel to consider, and we did find a bit of resistance off that before, so I would take that into account in terms of a target. If we can close above the 21, we are potentially going to go up and come up and test that again at around that $7.70 mark. Obviously, we do have lower highs here to think about. Yeah, I did think we were getting into that stream. We're 1 hour and 20 minutes in, because I started to mess up, right? Yeah, so in terms of price targets, I would be looking at to get over this price action channel here. But obviously, we do have these lower highs to think about. The most dominant ones are these ones up here, so we do have a little bit of a way to go. Ideally, we get over this price action channel within the next few days or so, and then we see a nice challenge of this 55 moving average that we got coming down here, right? Obviously, this is on the 4 hour, so it's not going to be overnight, right? It's not going to be overnight. But yeah, let's do back in history, right, and see how we respect this 55. Yeah, we do have quite a bit of respect on this 55 moving average coming down here. As you can see here, I do see us, we do use it as resistance, right? We do use it as quite a big level of resistance. So I would say like we are potentially going to come up, find some resistance off this line to start off with, and then if we do find a nice level of support on it, then we are looking at a significant pump to the upside, which could potentially line us up perfectly at around this point here, looking at around $11, around that sort of area for that, right? And that's what my opinion on Luna. Yeah. It's all good. No sweat, no sweat. Should we jump to... Let's jump to XRP, right? I was talking about XRP a minute ago. Let's jump to XRP. In terms of XRP right now, it's all a bit crazy, right? It's all a bit crazy for XRP right now. I just want to talk a little minute about this symmetrical triangle we had for XRP. I was watching this for so long, right? I was watching this for so long. I'm sure a lot of people were, a lot of traders were, because it's huge. It's absolutely huge, right? It's huge. It got a lot of people like, what is happening here? It's quite significant, right? It's significant. And it was insanely healthy, right? Insanely healthy. Touches to the bottom side, touches to the top side continuously. Very nice, very attractive chart pattern, in my opinion, right? But basically, what happened? Everyone thought we were going to break to the upside, right? Everyone thought we were going to break to the upside, potentially come and smash the all-time high there for XRP and see a nice measure move to the upside, right? Obviously, it's not going to be huge in terms of a non-greedy measure move. In terms of a greedy measure move, we would have been looking along the lines of this. And in terms of that, a lot of YouTubers were saying like this: we are going to come up. We're going to see near enough $3. We're going to see $2.63 there. A lot of people did think we were going to get to that point, but for myself personally, this fly is really driving me up the wall. But for myself personally, I was looking at a measure move up to this point here, and it does correlate perfectly with this major trend line of this chart pattern that we've got going through here, right? That would have been the ideal scenario for a long, right? The ideal scenario for a long, and it would have hit the previous all-time high. It would have been a lovely, 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 lovely take profit point, right, for our trade there. Would have been juicy. But what happened, right? What happened? We came up. And we got absolutely shat out there. We got battered, absolutely battered by that downwards momentum. And yeah, we just absolutely dumped off a cliff, lost the symmetrical triangle, saw a measure move complete to the downside here. Measure move to the downside complete for XRP here, which I knew a lot of people that thought that was not going to happen, right? But obviously, this wasn't XRP's fault. It was Bitcoin's fault, and it basically fell off a cliff and caused that massive crash, as you guys all know. But yeah, it was just really interesting how it can really trick you out here to think there could be a potential long position here, a really nice, healthy long position after this really attractive symmetrical triangle that we've got going on here. But yeah, so yeah, just wanted to talk about that for a sec for XRP. But at this point in time, right? At this point in time, let's go to the 4 hour, right? Dump. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, at this point in time, we're in this rising wedge, right? We're in this rising wedge trade pattern, chart pattern that we've got going on here. We are looking at losing. We've just lost, in a sense, we've just lost this major trend line that we've got going to the upside here of this falling wedge, rising wedge. Sorry, of this rising wedge. So we could be looking at some sort of measure move to the downside, right? Let me get a better image of that by jumping down to some time frames where it's a bit more attractive to look at, right? A bit more attractive. Yeah, so as you can see here, in terms of a measure move to the downside, we would be looking for this trade, right? For this trade, we would be looking at something along the lines of this. Obviously, we have broke here, and that would correlate perfectly with this level of support at 95 cents there. Probably not the biggest trade in the world, but a trade nonetheless, right? Still, 6%, very nice indeed. I probably wouldn't be holding my take profit to the completion of the measure move. I would be looking at potentially this 55 coming down here. Looking at probably taking profit there, or taking half profit at this price action channel that we've got going down here. But I wouldn't be looking at an entry anytime soon. I'd be waiting for a retest of this trend line to the upside here, because this could literally be a potential trap zone forming, and it could be basically faking us all out, right? If we take a nice trend line coming up from here, looking near enough parallel to that line there, we could be reclaiming this zone here, as we did here, right? When we saw that that absolute bottom for XRP there, down at around 65 cents. Crazy stuff. I do remember when XRP was like 20 cents or something stupid. It was so cheap. But yeah, as I was saying before, I'm bullish on XRP. I do think it is going to survive this bull run, this bear run. If this bear market, if we do get into this bear market, right, I do think we are going to survive, because XRP, out of a lot of all the coins, it does have some of the same fundamentals that come with it, and that is basically that a lot of international banks use it for international transfers, right? Very interesting stuff there if you want to do some research on that, and to back up the theory of why I do think we are going to survive through this bear market. If not, I do think we are going to dump, but I do think XRP is going to be one of the coins that do significantly recover though. Do significantly recover. I'm just going to have some more water. As you can see here, look, we are coming back up and testing that 21 moving average on the hourly time frame. Oh god. Guys, if you're liking the stream here, could you hit that thumbs up? It helped me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, I need a little bit of helping hand with these YouTube algorithms because they are pretty hard to get into, right? But at this point in time for XRP, we are testing this 21. We actually did just find a bit of resistance there, coming back down in the price. Crucial point here, this price action channel. In terms of a short position, I would be looking at a potential retest of this trend line coming up here, and then potentially getting in short there, and being very, very, very cautious, right? Being very cautious, having my stop loss at this horizontal point of resistance here at $1.02 there. I would be looking at potential having my stop loss up around there, right? Up around here. So in terms of percent loss, it would be pretty insignificant, right? It'd be near enough like 1%, like it's nothing, right? In terms of the gain that we could be making here, I would be looking at potentially taking profit at around this, taking a bit of my profit at around this 21 moving average, and then coming down to this price action channel, and potentially also managing my position to see how we are on this major trend line coming down from XRP as well. And also we do have this 55 moving average, which comes in just before our I completely forgot what it's called. Our measure move, that's the one. Yeah, our measure move, right? Just before our measure move completion there. So definitely something to consider in terms of a short trade for XRP, but I would be waiting for that confirmation to come for that test at around this $1.01 mark. Definitely something to think about, right? But yeah, Skydemex, definitely, I do believe in XRP, as I said, even though I'm going to short it, like, I do believe in it, right? Obviously, it's a short-term little scalpy swing there. Very nice indeed, right? Yeah, that's kind of XRP summed up. Let me jump to, let's do a bit of Litecoin. On the daily for Litecoin, as you can see, we do have this pretty dominant channel to the upside here. We did actually obviously lose that in the same crash that we had, setting high lows continuously. Very nice indeed, setting higher highs in this current trend that we're going off. We are currently challenging and holding. We're currently challenging and holding this 200 moving average, which is very, very nice indeed. If we are to do that potential long position up to this crucial level of resistance here, and that's basically going to be sitting at around 211 for Litecoin there, because we are going to see some resistance there, because those are the lower highs that we do need to break for that crucial momentum to the upside, right? If we can find a nice level of support over that, I'd probably say over these wicks here. I wouldn't be getting in a long position anytime soon. If we were literally just trickling over that 212 there, I would be waiting till we get the confirmation for the 223 over this wick here. Nice level of support, potentially even coming up, testing this level here before we're looking at a long position up. But then you've got to think about these moving averages coming down as well. You are going to have a bit of resistance coming down from them as well. So definitely a few things to think about. But at this point in time, I would be looking at potential long for Litecoin here on the daily, right? On the daily. So it's going to be a juicy position, nice 10% there. If we can get there, if we can hold our own above this 200 moving average here, that's basically the ideal scenario. I don't see us really coming down any lower unless Bitcoin falls off a cliff and brings the price of Litecoin down. At this moment in time, I am looking for this crucial lower high point to break, and that is at around 211 to 223 there, and that is for the daily, right? For the 4-hour time frame for the midterm for Litecoin, right? It's pretty crucial at this point in time, because if we can find a nice little support on this price action channel that we've got going on here, we are looking at the progression to the upside, right? We're looking at progression to the upside. I'll just kick something. Progression to the upside, and basically challenging this 55 moving average that we've got coming down here, right? And that is sat around 205 before looking at that progression to the upside of that 211, right? If we jump back to that daily, right? If we can find a nice close above there, we could be looking at an entry. Depending, let's look at the price action channel there. Looking at, and that is at 189. Yeah, so we could be looking at a nice close on above the price action channel, and a nice close above the 200 moving average here, because they obviously correlate together pretty nicely. Looking for that long position, potentially taking a nice chunk of profit at the 206 mark. I probably would take a chunk of profit at the 206 mark, because as you can see here, we do have quite a lot of wicks to the downside, and that could cause a potential early level of resistance to think about here, pretty much correlating with the 55 moving average that we've got coming down here. So in terms of taking profit for that trade, it would be something along the lines of along the lines of this, probably at a 6-7% near enough around that. Obviously manage your position accordingly, and I must also say, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not saying take these trades. I'm literally just giving my educational standpoint on what trades I will potentially be taking, right? Yeah, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just our speculation. It's our education, right? But yeah, so that's kind of Litecoin for the summed up in terms of targets. I would be looking at getting over the 55 here, finding support on that, and then that dreaded levels of resistance that we do need to smash through for that crucial confirmation. We are going to have that continuation to the upside. Ideally, that would be lovely. In terms of if that is going to happen, we do have these horizontal resistance points at around 228, another one at 223, perfectly in line with that point there. And ideally, if we can get a nice level of support on there, we are looking to come up and test the bottom side of this price channel, which we were in since the start of the bull run, I do believe, right? Since we were in since the start of the bull run. Oh no, not quite. Yeah, not quite. But we did actually hold it for quite a while, and as you can see, it's very attractive. It's very healthy, right? You got touches continuously all the way to the bottom side, all the way to the top side. It's just really nice, right? It's a very nice chart pattern. And I would ideally like to reclaim that. If we are to reclaim that, the target for that is 260. Obviously, we do have this 200 moving average coming down here as well. So that's something we would be looking at finding a bit of resistance off as well. So potentially some sort of consolidation point here. But ideally, nice level of support to get over here, reclaim this price rising price channel that we got going on here, reclaim the 200 moving average, and get a nice level of support and push to the upside. And target after that is around 327 to think about. Definitely something to consider if we can break these lower highs on this midterm for Litecoin here. Crucial point, as I keep saying, for Bitcoin and for all other altcoins at this point in time. We do have these crucial lower highs to get to. Bitcoin is getting further and further away from these lower highs. It's just finding that resistance early, I believe. But we could be gathering some momentum by pulling back a bit, gathering some momentum, and then hopefully smashing through these crucial points that we've got coming here around 41 to 42k. That's ideal if we do that in a sense, right? But if we were, say, it's actually pretty good that we're doing this, right? It's pretty good that we're coming back down. Granted, it's not great that we are losing a major trend line of this chart pattern that we've got going on here, but obviously we have seen these upswings, right? We have seen these upswings, so we do need these corrections. We do need these corrections to the downside to gather momentum to go again, right? To gather momentum to go again. And ideally, I would not like to see any sort of resistance at all around these points on this chart here. But obviously, it's very unlikely we are going to see resistance. It's very unlikely we are going to just smash through it and go a bit parabolic there. But if we are, that would be ideal. Come up, smash the volume weighted ETR band, come down, test, find support, bang it to the moon, reclaim that bull run, and just have a little bit more confidence in the crypto market, right? That would be ideal in my opinion, right? So yeah, that's Bitcoin summed up quickly. Any requests in the chat, guys, for coins? Hit me up. That would be very nice if you could. I can just keep running through random coins there, but I'm sure you guys have probably got some requests there. If you do, smash them in the chat now, and I will do them for you, right? My Doge is looking at me. I'm not doing Doge. I can do Doge if you guys want me to do Doge. Doge is pretty tradable in my opinion. Pretty tradable indeed, right? We were actually looking at the descending triangle for Doge right now, but in my opinion, it's not that great, right? It's not that great. We didn't have the close here. We just had a nice big wick to start us off. We do have obviously this dominant trend line, downward sloping resistance line coming from the downside here, which we are currently finding resistance from on the 4-hourly time frame. We are currently potentially losing this 21 moving average, which we've got coming through here. So we could be looking at basically losing that. If we are to lose that, then we are potentially going to come down and test the lower side of this triangle, right? If we are to potentially come down and test the lower side of this triangle, we're going to bounce off this level of support at around 28 cents, right? It's around 28 cents, but well, as we know, Doge, it's insanely volatile, right? And this is primarily the reason why I don't really like it. It's insanely volatile. So I'm saying, like, yeah, it's going to take a while for us to get to 28 cents, but we know Doge, it could take literally 3 minutes, right? It could take 3 minutes, and that's why I hate Doge, right? But yeah, at this point in time, we have currently lost, we didn't find support on this major trend line coming down here. We haven't found support on this price action channel coming down, and we haven't found support on this 21 moving average, right? So yeah, I can see us potentially coming down a price target of around this point here, around 32 cents there for Doge. I mean, I can see us getting there pretty easily, right? I can see us getting there pretty easily around this point here. It's definitely something to think about. And whether we're going to form a smaller descending triangle before we see a break to the upside or a break to the downside there. Something looking along the lines of this, right? Smaller one, as you can see here, before we see a measure move to the downside inside of this giant triangle that we got coming through here. Or potentially a break to the upside coming through, testing this 55, obviously depending on how we go from there, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Doge, right? I do trade Doge, I just don't hold it at all, right? I hate holding Doge. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure someone still owns like 23% of the supply, right? Yeah, baffles me, right? Baffles me. But yeah, so in terms of other altcoins right there, we have just hit the hour and 35-minute mark, guys. I will be probably ending the stream in around 10 minutes time. Because that wraps up around probably 4 hours of streaming. But yeah, guys, if you like the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. And tomorrow, I go live every single morning for 1 to 2 hours, doing a short term on Bitcoin, a mid term on Bitcoin, and then a long term on Bitcoin. And then also I do some requested altcoins in the chat as well. I do go live for an hour or two every single morning. So if you never want to miss one of my lives, then hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. You're never going to miss one of my lives. I also do altcoin videos. I also do emergency updates for crypto itself. I just love creating content. So yeah, if you never want to miss that, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? Let me jump to Ethereum Cash, right? Let's jump to Ethereum Cash. Ethereum Classic, Ethereum Cash. That's funny. Yeah, so as you can see here, we did see those lower lows on that massive dump to the floor that we saw there. As you guys know, this is pretty much expected, right? Even though we did have that insane sell-off, right? It's pretty much expected because we've seen the gains. We've seen the gains that Ethereum Classic has made, right? We did see the insane gains that Ethereum made, but Ethereum Classic is just gone literally parabolic, right? It's gone literally parabolic. So we did need, that's very parabolic in my opinion. We did need that insane correction, right? That insane correction coming down. I would have expected a bounce off the 21 moving average coming down here. Not quite a colossal dump all the way back down to $39 there, but obviously stuff happens in crypto like that, insane validity right there. In terms of a dump for that, we did look at around a 50%, 56% correction there. Very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. But yeah, in terms of that parabolic run, we were looking at some sort of correction. I just didn't think it would be that low. I would have liked to bounce off the 21, and then the next target would have been the 133K mark. But as you can see, we're coming back up. We're claiming this 21. We're finding support on this 21 on the daily, and that is basically an indication that our next target right now is going to be the previous all-time high close at 133. As you can see here, we do obviously have a dominant trend line coming down, right? A dominant trend line coming down from the top side of Ethereum Classic here. And we've broken it. We've broken it to the upside, which is very nice to see indeed. Very nice to see indeed. We do have the support from the 21. So yes, as I was just saying, my next target for Ethereum Classic would be the all-time high if we can actually smash through this previous lower high created here, as on all the charts here. And the target for that on Ethereum Classic is sat at around $88 there. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of managing your position if you are looking at potential long or something like that, because obviously we have obviously cleared a major point of resistance here, and it says here that we've got an insane amount of confidence in Ethereum Classic, and in my opinion, it's just an insane amount of confidence in Ethereum, right? Because that's moved, yeah, insane amount of confidence in Ethereum, right? Because obviously Ethereum Classic runs with Ethereum in a sense, right? It just copies the same sort of chart patterns. Obviously, this is a lot more parabolic. Because it's a lot lower price, it takes a lot less money to move it, but we have seen insane investments in Ethereum Classic in the recent months, right? Very interesting stuff in my opinion, right? But yeah, target to get over is $88 around that sort of point, and then we can see basically progressionary moves to the upside from there. Thanks, King. No sweat. Sky Demex. But yeah, so that would be the target, and then the next target from there would be the all-time high close at around $133 there. In the midterm right now, for Ethereum Classic, you can see all these called up moving averages, right? These, oh god, they're called up, yeah. They're very called up here. So we're looking at a potential price break. Hopefully it's not to the downside. If it's to the downside, the lowest point we're going to see here is $55 for Ethereum, in my opinion. Sorry, Ethereum Classic, in my opinion. I don't see us coming all the way down to this 45 sort of zone. And even these low points here. Obviously, we do have these levels of support here to think about, but I don't see us getting this low unless Bitcoin or Ethereum has an insane dump and insane sell-off, right? But as I said before, target points, if we can get a nice bounce off this 55, which is looking pretty hopeful at this point in time. We didn't quite get there on the 4-hourly time frame. If we can get a nice bounce off this 55, I would be looking at a continuation to the upside. And then the crucial point, as I was just saying, is that $88 mark around that sort of this consolidation period that we had here. I would be looking at hopefully finding some support and progressing to the upside from there, but it's very likely we come up to that point and we find some resistance, and basically we start this zone as sort of like a consolidation sideways sort of period. I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's either going to be that or we're going to dump off an absolute cliff, right? Ideally, let's not dump off a cliff. Let's hold our own and continue this momentum to the upside and reclaim that bull market barrier on Bitcoin there, and then send all the alts to the goddamn moon so we make a lot of money, right? That's the idea, right? That's the theory that we want to go with, right? So yeah, ideally, target price $88, as I was saying, and the lowest point is at this volume weighted ATR band at 55, in my opinion, as a potential bounce point. If we are looking at that, as you can see here, potential bounce point after these insane dumps, right? So if we are looking at the same dump, we are looking at a bounce point from there. Now, what else should I do? What else should I do? How long have I got? Yeah, I'm gonna sign off in 5 minutes, guys. So if you do have any coins that you're desperate for me to do, I'm gonna do crypto. Crypto.com, the exchange. I'm gonna do crypto.com at this point in time. I am actually bullish on crypto.com, and I do think there is some potential there. Some potential there in terms of fundamentals. And I do see it doing very well. Maybe not right now, but they are doing some pretty cool stuff with blockchain and stuff like that. So we could see some sort of repetition in terms of mirroring BNB, right? Because it's a huge exchange, crypto.com in America, right? So we could be seeing some sort of mirroring of BNB. I know Binance is a lot bigger, but crypto.com could potentially, I see it, it's advertised everywhere, right? They're just advertising absolutely everywhere. In my opinion, they're advertising more than Binance. So it has got that potential for growth from an entrepreneurial, from an entrepreneur's standpoint. I could do one please, Dean, or D, sorry, not Dean. Yeah, I'll do one D. Yeah, just give me 1 sec. I'll just do crypto.com. I just got a bit carried away with the fundamentals there. So as you can see here, we did set these lower lows on this insane dump to the downside here. We did see this insane parabolic run up to the top side. We actually saw a 34 cent crypto.com token there, and we did see the dump to the downside. Obviously, when we go parabolic, we need that insane correction, right? Then we saw that progression route. We saw that nice progression route uptrend, setting those higher highs continuously, and then obviously we saw that reverse, right? The reversal, the correction that we saw here, and then the colossal dump hit, right? I would have expected a nice bounce off this 200, but then the insane panic sell happened, and crypto absolutely took a shit, right? Absolutely went crazy, and yeah, we are continuously setting higher lows here, which is very nice. Higher highs on this uptrend, so it's looking like we're going to have that continuation to the upside. But the next target point here is around this 21 moving average here at around 14 cents for crypto.com there. Definitely something to consider in terms of a target to the upside. In terms of a target to the downside at this point in time, the lowest point would be right down here at 6 cents, but I don't see us getting there. Let me jump to smaller time frame so we can get some sort of volume weighted ATR band on the 12-hour time frame would be a nice bounce point, and that is at 11 cents there. As you can see, we have claimed it here. As you can see, we did have a little bounce from it here, and likewise here, even when we saw that insane dump to the downside there. So it's definitely something to consider if we are going to lose this 21 moving average here on the 12-hour here. If we are going to basically find a nice level of resistance on this 21 moving average on the daily here, we could potentially come down, bounce off this volume weighted ATR band here at 11 cents, and we could potentially look at a long from there. Very nice stuff indeed. On the 4-hour right now, it basically gives a bit more confirmation that we aren't going to dump down, because we've got nice levels of support here. We've got the 55 moving average here, which we're likely to come down and test pretty imminently. As you can see, a nice trend reversal coming through here. Pretty imminently, I can see us basically reversing on this trend here. Next target is the moon. To the moon. Not quite, but yeah, I get you, bro. Joking. But yeah, so as you can see here, I would like a nice bounce off this 55 and see that progression to the upside and see the next target point of 13 cents there. But as you can see here, we do have a nice bit of resistance from that horizontal resistance line there, so we could be looking at some sort of correction. Didn't quite get there on the last little uptrend that we had there. We didn't quite get there yet. We're still finding that resistance there. So pretty crucial point, as I've been saying, in terms of a lower high that we need to break and set a nice higher high there in terms of this uptrend that we're feeling right now. But in order to do that, we need to bounce off this 55, right? So that's the initial target. Let's bounce off that 12 cent 75 mark, that would be ideal, and not fall below this price action channel or this 21. And if I do see us falling below that, we are looking at this volume weighted ETR band as a bounce point, as discussed on the 12 hour. Right, let me do one. Harmony. Let me just have a drink, right? And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that not that notification bell, hit that thumbs up bell, helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Puts me on the YouTube algorithms a lot more. And yeah, obviously I'm a new streamer and I've only been doing this like 2 weeks, so it does help me out tremendously. And I do seriously appreciate it, guys. I do seriously appreciate it, right? So yeah, Harmony right now, it's not looking so bad, right? It's not looking so bad. We did see the pumps, right? We did see pumps, and we did see quite a bit of resistance at this point here. So that would be the next target. It wouldn't be the next, this horizontal resistance point and this 200 moving average, in my opinion, wouldn't be the next target, because as you can see here, we have seen a nice level of resistance at this point here at around this 11 cent mark. Yeah, around this 11 cent mark. So I would be looking at that being the next target point in terms of resistance to get through that. But as you can see, we are bouncing off the 21 at this point in time, and we are in sort of this mini downtrend that we got going on here. We were setting higher highs continuously on that uptrend, very nice indeed. So we did have quite a bit of a nice curve over on the last trend that we had here. So we're probably seeing a smaller curve over here and then potential reversal to the upside, right? Very, very nice indeed, in my opinion. I do think we are going to bounce here. I can't see us going any lower. If we are to go lower, I'd say the next point of support would be at this 10 cent 2 mark. But in order to get there, we do need to break the 21 moving average, and then after that, I would be looking at this point here as a potential bounce point, right? As a potential bounce point, as we did bounce here in that zone there, and that basically, yeah, it correlates perfectly with the potential with this downward sloping resistance line that we had coming through here on the RSI here. So if we are looking at coming down, we're potentially looking at a bounce from there, and that potentially could be earlier. It could be at this 10 cent 19 point, or could be at this 9 cent point. So definitely something to think about when trading Harmony right now, because if you are to have a bounce point on this trend line that we got going on here, I would be on the RSI, right? I would be watching that continuously to see where the bounce point will be in the live price action, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Harmony 1 on the 4 hour, right? On the 4 hour. In terms of smashing to the upside, I would be looking at breaking this point at the 11 cent 89 mark, and then, sorry, I've got someone drilling next door. And then the next target would be finding a lovely, juicy level of support at this 200 SMA here, and this horizontal resistance point at $12 there. But let's go over this resistance point first. Let's get over this resistance point first, and then we can start talking about these figures, right? Then we can start talking about these figures. After that, then I can see potential growth to the upside. Obviously, got a monthly pivot point sitting up around here, around that 14 cent mark. So that would be ideal if we can get to that as well. And then after that, obviously, we do have this 15 cent 42 mark to look at as well. Yeah, this 15 cent 42 mark to look at as well. Not quite a previous all-time high if we do get past that as well. Obviously, the previous all-time high is sitting around 22 here, right? I thought it was that one because it was on a 4 hour, right? But yeah, in terms of price targets right now, I would be looking at potentially coming down and bouncing off this 21 or this horizontal support line at 10, right? Definitely something to consider there. It is at 1 hour and 47. I'm just going to do a little summary on Bitcoin as we are pumping, and then I will be leaving the stream and basically calling it a day. I'll be calling it a day, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning for a 1 to 2 hour stream. So don't miss it. Hit the notification bell. You're never going to miss when I go live. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, hit that thumbs up bell. Helps me out tremendously, right? A little summary on Bitcoin for the short term right now. Short term right now for a summary on Bitcoin. We are actually pumping, right? We're pumping, and this is a little confirmation why you shouldn't have gotten a short here, because you can see we're pumping to the upside. We're reclaiming this 21 moving average. We're reclaiming this major trend line that we've got coming down from the bottom point here. We do have this major trend line coming down from the bottom point. If we can reclaim that, we're looking at momentum to the upside, right? Claiming this resistance point at the next target, would be the correlation between this 200 moving average that we got coming through here, this purple one here, the SMA, and then we do have a horizontal resistance point at 39,605 to think about as well. If we can get a nice level of support on that, I can see us coming up and testing the 10. But by the time that we get there, in my opinion, I do think the 10 is going to come down a bit, potentially correlate with them, and it could provide some sort of resistance there. So definitely something to think about in terms of the 1 hour for Bitcoin, for the short term for Bitcoin, right? If we are to see a swift rejection from this 21 and from this major trend line to the upside here, major resistance from this trend line that we've got going on here to the on the downside of this this rising wedge here. As you can see, I'm getting tired to the end of the stream. I can see a rejection coming down from that. Testing this price action channel as we have just done there. Potentially losing it. If we lose it, I can see a nice juicy level of support correlating perfectly with this 55 and this major trend line coming down from the top part there, right? Yeah, very nice indeed. Potential bounce point there to think about indeed, right? And that's I can see that happening pretty congruently, as I can see we are setting lower highs in terms of the price action here. And when this hourly closes, right? When this hourly closes, unless we're closing around up here, we are going to be setting another lower high, indication that the price is going to come down and set another lower high as well, right? I mean, it's not the end of the world for Bitcoin. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there is a potential bounce point for a trend reversal from there, right? From this point here around 38,300. I think that was right. Yeah, 38,300, 38,400, around that sort of mark there. And in my opinion, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. We have seen these waves of buying pressure to the upside here. So we are likely to have some sort of correction like this, right? Otherwise, it's not going to be healthy. It's not going to be healthy. In terms of what's happening on the MACD, as I said, we could potentially see some rejection point here and see a bounce on this 55 and this downward sloping resistance, or downward sloping is going to be a support line in a minute if we can get there. And we do need to think about this support line on the MACD here. If we can see a trend getting down there, we are going to be looking at a bounce, right? We're going to be looking at a bounce from that, and that could basically potentially correlate perfectly with the 55 moving average coming down here, right? And that will signal a bullish crossover on the MACD, and that'll basically switch the trend to the upside. And then we could see a potential challenge of this horizontal resistance point at 39.5 in the future, right? Obviously, we are on the hourly, so it is going to take a little bit of time to get there, but potential for that to happen, right? Definitely something to take into account when trading Bitcoin on the short term. As you can see here, we are pretty central on the RSI for the hourly, right? We're pretty central on the RSI for the hourly, so that's something to take into account as well. If we are going to see some selling power, we're not going to be oversold anytime soon. We're not going to be overbought anytime soon if we see some buying power, right? So it's going to be pretty stagnant, right? So we can't really use the RSI in terms of a sign to see whether we're going to be buying or selling in terms of take profits, right? Because we're staying pretty central at this point in time. If we see a nice bit of selling power, if we come down to this point here on the 55 and this major trend that we've got coming down here, we're not going to be oversold, right? We're not going to be oversold, so we can't have that as an indication that we are going to be coming back up, right? And vice versa, if we are to come up, find some resistance off these major resistance points here, we're not going to be overbought. We're not going to be overbought. There's not enough space to be overbought, so that means we're basically not going to be able to use a sell-off signal on the RSI to think about there as well, right? Definitely something to take into consideration when trading Bitcoin on the short term. Like a robot then. But yeah, so back to straight to the midterm for Bitcoin here on the 4-hourly here. We obviously do have, just to summarize, this falling wedge pattern, which we did break, right? We broke to the upside here, and we got a lovely trade here. Down to this 8%, because obviously we did have a nice bit of resistance on this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. Whew, yeah, that was a lovely 8% that we had going on there, and we did actually curl around, set a new trend, which was very nice indeed. We have been setting high lows continuously until we saw this curl over on this 55, right? We did close above the 55, and we were hoping for a nice level of support on there, but we didn't. We lost it, and now we're currently testing it, hoping we can basically break to the upside and find the support, right? We need to find that support on the 55 for any more progression, right? Any more progression. But as I said, crucial points to watch out for on the midterm for Bitcoin here is these points here, around that 41,200 to 41,000 to around 42,000 mark, around this point here. I should really draw one of those boxes, right? But yeah, around this point here between these two lines, if we can find a nice level of support above that 42,300 mark, we could be looking at a long position all the way up to 43. And that basically put us dead in correlation with the bull market barrier, right? Definitely something to consider because we could be looking at a potential short position from there. Obviously, depending on price action and depending on whether we can find a nice level of support on there. But let's go for the 55. Let's go for the support on the 55 first before we can think about these points here. And yeah, that's pretty much we are finding a nice bit of resistance here at this point in time, so it's looking like we are potentially going to come down before challenging again and finding support. And if we find support on it, it's going to look a bit more bullish in my opinion, in terms of an uptrend for the challenge of these major horizontal resistance lines here, and the challenge of these lower low here, which is creating those horizontal resistance lines there. So yeah, definitely something to consider. For the midterm for Bitcoin, right? I'm going to jump to the long term quickly and just summarize on that very quickly indeed. Pretty tired now. It's going to come up to the 4-hour mark in terms of streaming time today. But guys, if you did like the stream today, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. And if you want to be on my stream tomorrow, watching me and chatting with me and requesting coins in the chat, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and yeah, I'll be on from around 8 to 9 in the morning UK time, right? So yeah, hit the notification bell. You're never gonna miss one of my streams. And also I do altcoin videos. I do emergency updates, all of that good stuff there in terms of crypto, right? So yeah, hit that subscribe button, notification bell if you never want to miss one of my uploads in itself, right? In terms of what's happening on the daily chart, the long term for Bitcoin right now, target point that we need to cross is this 200 moving average, right? We need to find a nice level of support on that 200 moving average, and that is at 41,800, around that mark there. That's going to be the test point. If we find a level of resistance there, we are going to come down significantly from there, in my opinion, right? We are going to come down significantly from there, in my opinion. Next level of support would be on this close here, which I'd be looking at bouncing from if we are to get there. Hopefully we don't get there, because in my opinion, we are going to see some sort of panic sell-off from there, because at this point in time, everyone's buying up everything, thinking that we're going to reclaim this bull market like it's knife through butter. Like, I don't think it's going to happen quite that simply, right? It's not going to be that easy, right? It's not going to be the whales aren't going to make it that easy. I do think we are going to see a nice level of resistance from this 200 here, and it's going to trick a lot of people out, and a lot of people are going to be like, right, time to long, we're going up, when they see probably some insane price action to the upside here. Once we clear these definitely higher lows that we need to get over, we're probably going to see some insane price action, potentially even a mass rejection off this 21 moving average here before we surge to the downside again, right? I'm not saying we are going to do that. I'm definitely saying just take into account it is a possibility. It could happen. And obviously, if that happens, all of the altcoins are going to fall with it, right? It's not going to be only Bitcoin falling, because Bitcoin's obviously the leader in the market. It's going to take everyone else with it, right? Absolute bottom, I can see us coming down to potentially coming down to 29.9, around 30k zone. I don't think we're going to get there, right? In my opinion, I don't think we're going to get there. But if we are going to lose this level of support at around 34,676, we will be looking at a next target of a low around that point there. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled over the next 2 days or so. If we can come up, we can test this zone, because we could see some insane rejections there. Or if we do smash through it, we could see some insane support up to this 43k mark. And as I just said, potential long position if we can clear this 200, right? That's gonna sum up the video, guys. That's gonna sum up the live stream there. If you have liked it, smash that like button. Helps me out tremendously. And thank you guys for being here and watching it with not watching it with watching me trade, and let me do a TA for you there. And if you never want to miss one of my streams, as I just said, hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button. But yeah, this is going to be me for now. I'll see you guys bright and breezy in the morning tomorrow for a nice morning stream. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Peace out from me, Crypto Chester.